Okay, how about now? Hey, it actually works. Okay, okay, explain to me this. How is a program run constantly and then just kind of close whenever the fuck it feels like? Like I don't get it. I use NVIDIA Broadcast to kind of muffle a lot of the noise in my room because I don't really have any kind of like sound deadening or any of that kind of bullshit. So it's just kind of wacky that like I have the program open, I don't touch it, and then like it just kind of randomly doesn't want to appear, I guess. So that's why I always get those awkward like moments in my stream where I think I'm going good because, like, you know, it's green, it matches every other damn green thing in my bar. So yeah, grumble grumble grumble. First world problems. All right, anyways, let's do this again. Hello everybody. All right, enough of that. All right, so it's been a few days. I believe the last day I streamed was Saturday. We finished the Ruin DLC for Security Breach, and yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with it. It was pretty fun. I spent the next couple of days getting some business done, and you know, in real life, and just kind of relaxing. You know, I was working pretty hard Sunday and kind of hurt my back a little bit. Need to recoup from that, and then for some reason I have developed a bruise on my wrist. I don't know how that happened. I think it's my mouse. My mouse pad is getting kind of shitty, so I think that's probably what was causing it, but I don't know. It's hard to say. So I ordered a new mouse. I have a vertical mouse. I'm trying that new Razer Vertical Pro gaming mouse or whatever. We'll see if that actually helps. I've heard some people say that the angle's too much. Other people say it's not it's not enough. I don't know. I got it for like $70 from Amazon. So we'll see how it is. It's supposed to be in basically new condition. Box is crushed a little bit. Ooh. So we'll find out if it's actually good or not. If not, it goes back. And then we'll try there's another one called the Keychron. And that one is supposed to be a bit better. So we'll try it out and see what happens. There's a slight lag. It's not that bad, but I guess it's getting a little better. I've often wondered if I should like hardwire the connection for my iPhone tracking, make it a little bit snappier. I mean, it's not terrible, but there's like a slight like a fraction of a second delay. It's noticeable when you're staring at your, okay, weirdly, a little narcissistic here, but but weirdly, it's like you're staring at your VTuber avatar while you're talking to make sure everything's kind of lining up. It's like staring into a mirror. Yes, I am actually this handsome in real life. Okay, maybe not, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if your brain is causing the slight feeling of desync or not, because like obviously it's not a 1-to-1. I don't look this good in real life. you know, don't have giant glowing horns and really, really beautiful eyes. Unfortunately, just not me. Yeah, it just seems a little, I guess it's not that bad. I probably won't even notice it much. So I think I'm noticing it now because I'm hyper focusing on it. Because, you know, who doesn't do that when they have, you know, a little bit of ADHD. Anyway, let's see here. I did kind of go down the rabbit hole of Five Nights at Freddy's videos. Wow, that's an iceberg. So oh man. So there's a reason I'm jumping into Help Wanted 2. For one, it's supposed to take place in between Security Breach and Ruin. So that should be interesting. I'm kind of curious to glean any like cool little lore bits. It's supposed to be like a mini game. It's like a game of mini games, but there's supposed to be some like lore type stuff in it. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure it's probably just cool stuff with jump scares. It's supposed to be played in VR, but apparently you don't have to. So guess what? We're not playing into VR. I do have my VR headset and everything. I just don't have it set up. And honestly, I'd like to be able to go to sleep after the stream, so I don't need to be terrified that much. And judging by just the opening screen with the title screen, I don't really need those things staring into my soul in VR. But anyways, yeah, so I've kind of just been going on the rabbit hole of Five Nights at Freddy's videos. A lot of really interesting lore and theories. I think after kind of looking into it, I'm probably not going to play Five Nights at Freddy's 1 through, 4, 5, 6, whatever, and Sister Location. Mostly just because that type of gameplay, as being like just the game, it doesn't really appeal to me too much. I mean, it's the idea of like, because Five Nights at Freddy's is ultimately like a game where you're monitoring your power supply and then just barely using the things you need to stay alive. It's a resource management game more than anything else. The jump scares are cool, but like, I feel like I would get really tired of the jump scares after a little bit, and I would just be like, okay, next, moving on, you know, like that type of vibe. You know, kind of like I did in Security Breach. It was cool the first couple of times, but after a while you can only stand so much loud noise thing jump in your face before you're just like, oh, all right, yeah, whatever, you know. It just gets annoying to me. So anyways, you know, and honestly, like, I guess Sister Location is the one that's the first one in 3D. So, I mean, maybe? I don't know. But Sister Location is getting kind of referenced in Security Breach 2. But the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's is kind of all over the place. As in, like, you could tell there really wasn't meant to be any. Like, so from my understanding of Five Nights at Freddy's, is the original creator, Scott Cawthorn, I think it is, he wanted to make basically a game that used Chuck E. Cheese type animatronics. He thought that was really cool. And nobody liked it. They thought it was kind of dumb, and they thought the animatronics were creepy. So after a couple of failures, he was like, I bet. And he decided to make Five Nights at Freddy's a game about creepy animatronics. And it took off like wildfire. Became a big YouTube hit, streamers, all that kind of stuff. People freaking out. Ooh, spooky thing happened. Ah, jump scare. Be able to clip up a moment. And so, yeah, what ended up happening is that, you know, it became a big franchise. Ironically, kind of kid-oriented, which is wild, right? But I think kids like horror. Kids like spooky stuff. Kids want to be scared shitless. Like, the whole thing about being a kid is you're constantly pushing at the boundaries of things. Horror is absolutely one of those things. Concerned parents absolutely should be monitoring the kids to make sure their kids are handling that kind of stuff correctly. But I believe that, you know, having a little bit of darkness, a little bit of horror, you know, in your media as a kid is actually a healthy thing. You know, like, yes, every child in my generation is going to be traumatized by Artex, but, you know, for those who don't know, that's never ending story where the horse basically just gives up and dies. And that story gets dark. But it is ultimately a hopeful story if you pay attention in Never Ending Story. It's, you know, by the time you get to the end of the story, it's a story about imagination. It's a story about, you know, the importance of having the desire to see the future. Because what is the future but imagination? Like, I don't know the future. Do you know the future? The future is what you make of it, right? It's whatever your imagination is. Some people have dark imaginations and they have dark machinations. Arguably, you're kind of seeing that right now. But other people have more hopeful stuff. You know, the icon of like the stereotype of like the Disney dreamer, you know, the Walt Disney type guy, or Tony Stark, or Tony Stark's dad, I guess would be more appropriate. While those people absolutely had their dark sides, they were hopeful people. You know, they wanted to push humanity to the future, and they thought humanity would be, you know, a more prosperous place if, you know, we all got along and happy and had cool shit. Unfortunately, not everybody sees that, but, you know, it's that, you know, people call it like the Star Trek utopia, but like, you know, it's reality is just like, we're heading to that point where, you know, we have to make major changes to our society, and we have to decide what kind of society we want. And you're going to have to, at a certain point, put your foot down and be like, hey, no, I want the nice future, not the crappy dystopian one. You know, Blade Runner is cool to look at. You know, Ghost in the Shell is cool to look at. I don't want to live in those worlds, man. They're depressing and dark. Awful things happen to people all the time. You know, and everything is some shadowy company or shady organization trying to be the next ruler of the world. I don't need that shit. Nobody does. So, you know, hopefully we have that future, but I digress. Anyway, Five Nights at Freddy's, right? Yeah! So Five Nights at Freddy's is kind of like that. So the pizzeria, basically it's a pizza burger. Every pizzeria that exists gets kind of crushed down and built on top of. And that's why in Security Breach, you know, you have those areas like under Roxy's Raceway, you know, where there's clearly been something there for a very long time. So Secret of the Mimic, which comes after Ruin, it's a prequel to Five Nights at Freddy's / Security Breach. It's kind of unclear exactly where all of this newer stuff kind of places itself in the timeline, but essentially this kind of takes place before the William Afton stuff. Or at least around that time. It's a little weird. We might have to watch a video about the Five Nights at Freddy like lore / iceberg. That might be kind of cool to do. We'll probably do it after this one, because the next game we'll be playing in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe is going to be Secret of the Mimic. It comes out on the PlayStation 5 at the end of the month, and I'm probably going to be playing it on that so that, you know, I get a good experience. Because it's not that my PC can't handle playing a game like that, or Security Breach or anything like that. It's just that I need to be able to run OBS and everything at the same time, and I want to have, you know, a less jerky, you know, crash prone experience. You know, Silent Hill F is kind of like that, where it's like I probably should have just gotten the PS5 version, but I think I've kind of learned how to make that one work. Just have to kind of tone down all the settings, which sucks, but it is what it is. It'll still look fine. You know, I just a little less financially privileged than other people. But we'll make it work. But yeah, I think my biggest thing that I ended up taking away from the Five Nights at Freddy's like franchise so far is that it's a very cool idea. And I think that like I see now why so many people like it, and I think there is a big split in the audience between like the original Five Nights at Freddy's and then the Security Breach universe, you know, stuff post. And I find it interesting to kind of compare the two, because Five Nights at Freddy's is animatronics like Chuck E. Cheese and stuff, and how like uncannily creepy they can be, right? Whereas like Security Breach, that part is still there, but it's de-emphasized because of how like colorful everything is. The horror is still there, but there's this like nice, pretty looking like sheen over the top of it that kind of disguises it a lot. You know, and it's only until you get into like Ruin where the developers are like, all right, we'll start showing you how bad it can really be when you peel away all of the pretty stuff. Because I feel like with Security Breach, that was kind of part of its problem, is that it was just a bit too nice. You know, whereas like, I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. Whereas like, you know, the Pizzaplex is basically on and open. Like there's no people in it, but like all the lights are on, everything's running. You know, like it's it's a bit different. Whereas like in Ruin, everything is falling apart. Things don't really work that well anymore. It somehow still has power, but like a lot of it isn't even working right. You know, like Ruin is a better experience for showing you how run down things are. I do like that Ruin gives you a glimpse at the things that you didn't get to see in the original Security Breach, like Bonnie's bowling lanes, a little bit of Foxy with the saloon and all that kind of stuff. You know, just some extra spots that you weren't able to get to in the original game, or at least not normally. Also, you get to find out what happened to Bonnie. Yeah, Glamrock Bonnie, which pretty much confirms that, yeah, Monty killed him. So, which is interesting. That kind of has a whole lore thing in itself. But yeah, all of the animatronics are interesting. I think that's my biggest takeaway. Hello, Ocean. How's it going? Yeah, all of the animatronics in Security Breach, they're all interesting. They all have interesting personalities. They all have interesting designs. And they all have interesting, like the whole idea of them is very like interesting to me. So it's going good. What about you? I'm okay. Hanging in there, doing things, you know. So took some time off to kind of rest up a little bit. I had some real life stuff to do. I'm back. I'm streaming again. So not super duper long as always, but you know, a couple hours of streaming I think will make everybody happy. So right now I'm just kind of talking about the lore stuff I've been digging about with am I talking about Hollow? No, I'm talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. So I mean, I guess Hollow VTubers are kind of like that too. Yeah, I mean, it is a bit interesting that here I am effectively a puppet. You know, animatronic puppet, kind of, you know, so in a way, yeah, kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, not really that far-fetched. I'm not trying to, you know, eat and scare little children, or am I? But, yeah, it's weird. I'm just kind of talking about like, the lore that's, you know, like that I've kind of been watching videos of and breaking, like a lot of videos have been kind of talking about like, the various animatronics, what do they mean? You know, like in Ruin DLC, Roxy gets rebooted, which kind of like her personality completely is different. So like, yeah, the Mimic at the end of it, and Secret of the Mimic came out for the PC and stuff digitally like a month or two ago, and that's a prequel to all this. So I was talking about how I'd be playing that in a couple weeks. So yeah, lots of cool stuff with that. So yeah. How about you? What you been up to lately? You sent the screen shit? Hope you didn't mean that. Let's see. Did you put it in the Discord? Let's see. I have to open up my Discord. Discord! Alright, just give me a sec. I like the animation you got, the little raw animation. Your birthday's on the 17th? Oh, cool. Would I like to meet with Iris? Dark Aether's Rift. I know of her. I've never met her. She's one of the biggest Hollow streamers? Oh, okay. Admittedly, I don't really follow that side of VTubing too much. You know, the Niji Sanji, Hollow, all that kind of stuff. She's your friend's friends? Cool. Well, that's awesome. Well, I mean, as cool as it would be to meet her, I don't even know what I would say. I don't really know her at all. It might kind of just be an awkward conversation. You know, I'm not really sure I'm comfortable at the moment with that kind of stuff. But I do appreciate it. Maybe in the future. I might be looking to doing more collabs after spooky season. Would be kind of nice to kind of do some like co-op games with people and stuff. But we'll see. We'll see. But it's cool you know her. Like, really. Like, it's... VTubing is like a simultaneously like really large, but also like kind of close-knit community. Seems like everybody knows everybody a little bit, which is kind of cool. What is this? Oh, that's from a while ago. There we go. Alright. Recently designed the intro for a streamer. Did you? It's incorrect. That's cool. You did all the animation and everything? I like it, but if I may offer a critique, the detail around the thumb is a bit much. It's weird. It's simultaneously very detailed, but like it's missing fingernails. Like a bit too many lines in the incorrect spots, I think. But the animation is nice and smooth. What, you think how much I charge for that? 110 bucks. I don't know. I'm not a good judge of like how much things cost to people. Like maybe somebody would pay that much for it. I wouldn't. But that's just me. I'm not. I'm notoriously cheap. But it is cool. Ooh, the panels are nice. So is this like a bunny VTuber then, or is that just the name of the streamer? She's gonna commission me for emotes. Am I not spelling it correctly? Oh, with a K. Ah, okay, here we go. Man, Google did not want to give me her name properly. She's just a simple streamer, not a YouTuber. Yeah, I kept trying to type in her name and Google kept trying to correct it. How my streams going these days? Well, not great, not bad. we'll just say it like that. I had to take a little bit of time off because I was sick. So I ended up taking like a week and a half off because I could barely stream. My throat was like raspy like this, you know, and I was coughing a lot, didn't have the energy. So I said, fuck it. I did stream like Silent Hill for like 2 nights, but it was a terrible experience. I don't recommend it to anybody. So when I do get back to Silent Hill F, we're just gonna restart it because those streams were terrible. But yeah, no, it's been all right. I feel like the way my streams are, if I'm not streaming like every single day, my viewership numbers do drop. But Twitch just did something really weird with view counts. I guess they don't count lurkers anymore, which really fucking sucks because you need to have 4 people in your stream on average to qualify for affiliate. You have to have that at least 4 streams of 4 viewers or more. And if they're not all talking all the time, they don't get counted as a viewer, which is bullshit. Because then it's like, I don't know what to do, you know? So I just have to keep grinding harder, I guess. It's like, to combat bots, they're basically just assuming that anybody who isn't talking is a bot. And I don't even understand the logic of that. So that's a little frustrating. But yeah. Okay, so stream charts is showing, okay, a relatively newbie streamer. Building up steam pretty good though, damn. Let's see here. I mean, I can give you a peek behind the scenes if you want to see. Let's see here. And we'll do yeah, if you want to see how weird Twitch is these days. Here, I'll show you my numbers because I'm not really scared of showing people this kind of stuff. Here, let me kind of zip myself into the corner here. Actually, we'll go over here. We'll get rid of the pumpkin overlay. All right. So, as you can see, these are my numbers. Not the best. Keep in mind, as you can kind of see, like there are large gaps where I've had to take some breaks. But when I come back, I usually start building up followers pretty quick. So I'm currently in the top 6.58% of Twitch. Like, how wild is that, right? Basically, on average, when I get a couple of viewers, yeah, average viewers 5.4. Yeah, I'm in like the top, like 10% of Twitch. And I have like almost no viewers half the time. That's wild, isn't it? Yeah. As you can see from my numbers here, follower growth, hours watched, and this actually isn't 100% correct. The numbers on my Twitch dashboard show better numbers. It's just that these tracker sites only care when you have more than like 4 viewers. If you only have 1 or 2 viewers, it doesn't track that stream. So, his dashboard. Okay. Give me a sec. I'll look. Okay. Yep. Minimum of 3 average viewers on 4 different days. Yep. Yep. Mine is currently at. Here. Oh, wrong one. There you go. Well, I guess not perfectly, but can I zoom this over? Here, I'll show you that. Oh, there you go. Actually, you can see it all right there. So, yeah. So those are my numbers right now. Nope, I'm not affiliated. So the way Twitch works is ever since TwitchCon earlier this year, they have a new like system. So they have the completely unaffiliated original one that everybody starts at. But they added a tier in between that and affiliated, which is essentially affiliate, but not. So the way it works is you have access to monetization. So I can get bits, I can get subs, I have access to like all of the sub promotions and things like that. Like September, I could have benefited from that. But there's a catch. I don't get any of that money until I'm an affiliate. It sits there on Twitch's website. Now I can cash it in if I can spend it on Twitch stuff. So like I can cash it in and buy subs for other people and like bits and stuff, but I can't get any of that money for myself. Now when I become an affiliate, then all of that money is available to me, and Twitch will pay it out whenever I make more than $50 a month. So that's how that works. And then, like, for example, the emotes and things like that, the difference between me and affiliate is when you're affiliate and, like, let's say I commission you for emotes, those emotes can be used anywhere on any channel as long as you're subscribed to me, right? Like any other streamer. But because I'm not affiliate, I can have custom emotes, but they only work on my channel. So if you subscribe to me and then you try to use my emotes on another channel, it won't work. So, I mean, you could try it if you want. Like, I have the generic Twitch emotes. So that kind of sucks. That I can't commission for emotes. That's why I haven't really been in a rush to have my own custom emotes. Because I'm like, the biggest reason why people want to, get subscribed to a channel, besides liking the streamer, is if the streamer has cool emotes, they can use them somewhere else. But if, you can't use the streamer's emotes somewhere else, then kind of what's the point, right? So, there are some downsides. That said, as you can see from my numbers, I'm not doing bad. I did have 3 out of 4, but because I took that week off, I slipped under the threshold one more time. So I'll get back up here pretty quick. It's the last metric I have to hit anyway, and it's not that big of a deal. So it's kind of one of those things. So, but the thing is I don't necessarily know if I want to be affiliated right now, because the hugest difference between being affiliated and not being affiliated right now is, and I'm sure you've noticed this, there are no ads on my channel. Isn't that great? You don't have to get any pre-rolls. You don't have to get any of that stuff. And I don't really feel like managing ads right now anyway. So I think if I do decide to, my mostly streamer commission only emotes to attract viewers. Yeah. It's funny, right? But it's true. People really do like emotes. Like, they really, really, really like emotes. And I don't mind them. Emotes are cool. Like, whenever I get subscribed to a channel, like, I love using their emotes in other places. But yeah, it's just kind of how it is. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things where, the tier is weird. And I would love to have affiliate, and I would love to have, hey, Jason, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. I would love to have affiliate. I'd love to have partner, but, I got to be realistic. Right? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why when you and I were first talking, a couple weeks ago about like doing stuff, I was always like, I'm working on this piece by piece. So 80 followers. Yeah, that's awesome. I love seeing number go up. It's funny. I think my Twitch follower count is going up at the same pace as my Twitter follower count. Oh, well. Was that you that did that? Is that an alt account? Or is that actually a new person? In which case, I'm sorry for assuming you were an alt. It's so hard to tell in this site these days. I mean, this is the site that just had a dude shock his dog and a lady give birth on live stream, like all on the same day. Was wandering through the ether and found me. Well, you've come to the right place. Hello, hello. I suppose we should be jumping into the game, huh? So what brings you over here? Five Nights at Freddy's? Something cooler? Boom. Alright. There we go. Alright, get that going. Okay. Let's flip on over. That and can't sleep. Gotta love when you can't sleep and then stay on your phone until 5 in the morning. Totally relatable. Totally relatable. I probably do that a bit too much as it is. Oh, PS5 is winding up. Yeah, it's it's something that drives me nuts. I wish my brain would turn off sometimes when I sleep, but no. Well, that's an intro. If that's too loud, let me know. Or too quiet. What I can't wait for is when Subnautica 2 releases. So I've actually never played Subnautica. I've heard it's really good. I actually have, because Sony gave away free games during COVID, I actually have a copy of it on my PS5. I should try it out sometime. People seem to like when people stream it. Let's see here. Jump scare volume. All right, we might be adjusting that as we go. Or maybe now. That hurts my ears.
Fazbear Entertainment is offering a new on-the-job training position for a future pizza professional.
Yo, that's me.
We would love to give you more details, but for legal reasons are unable to without a signed non-disclosure agreement. Fazbear Entertainment acknowledges that past work conditions have not been ideal. However, we can provide you with a 100% safety intention guarantee.
Trust me.
To accept this position, press or say 1. We didn't quite get that, but we know what you intended. Welcome to the team. Your first day starts now.
Okay.
Something has changed. The forgotten button has materialized here in my mystical booth.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I was the past couple of days watching Markiplier play the first Subnautica, and on top of that, the new one is going to have multiplayer. Really? Actually, I think that's kind of the smart idea. It seemed like a good co-op game. So what am I supposed to do here? Get your hands dirty with the paints and pepper pellets in the Superstar Daycare. This game is a lot scary in VR. Oh, I bet it is. Copy the art exactly. Use the dart gun to shoot the objects you need. Sun will toss them to you. Don't run out of time. Sun will be very upset. Okay. Oh god. It's sun.
New friend! Welcome to the Superstar Daycare! You're just in time for arts and crafts. Now you just sit right there and don't move! I'll go fetch whatever materials you need, okay? Use that rubber dart gun to tell me what art supplies you need from the Fun Craft shelves. Just point and pick. It'll be so much fun. Try it now. Select that brush.
What if I don't do anything? You think we get mad? Nope, he's just gonna sit there. Oh, this is so weird. Alright, where's the brush? Is that the brush? No. Is this the brush? Oh.
Oh, good job, good job. Now that you have a brush, guess what time it is? It's time to paint by numbers! Just follow the happy little numbers. They make all the hard color choices for you. When you are done, hit the button and I can evaluate your work. What are you waiting for?
What am I painting?
Wrong. My instructions were very clear. Do it again.
Oh, I have to... There we go. Okay. Red. That is red. Why are you not red? What the? Do I have to wash it?
Oh, you are banned from the daycare. My instructions were very clear. Do it again.
I don't... Oh, okay. Gotcha. Alright. Then we got green, yellow, and blue. Alright. Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Alright, let's retry. That's kind of cool, actually.
Good friend, you're back. No time to mince words. Get to it.
Oh. He just jumped right into it. There we go. Alright, that was yellow. Wait, no. Whoa, what? Alright, red. Is there any else? Bro, really? And the hand is... And then... Yellow and blue make green. And green. And... Blue and red make purple. Right? Yeah, done.
Beautiful.
he shreds it.
For your next project, time to make paper pals. Paper pals will be your friends forever and ever and ever. All the necessary materials are here on the craft shelf. Well, let's do you guys.
All right. Where's the other eye? All right. And then we need... Oh, we need the bear. Then we need... What else do we have here? Oh, the bow tie. Then what else? There's nothing else. I guess I'm done.
What is it? Art. Be creative on your own time. We are making art. Once more, from the top, with talent.
Oh. No, that is not right.
Don't eat the crafts.
Alright. Well, am I missing something? What's the rope? Oh my gosh! Really? Alright, what else do I got? Oh, are you kidding me?
Be creative on your own time. We are making art. Do it again.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. This one doesn't appear to have a timer.
We are going to learn a new word today. Indigestion. That's how you get it.
Alright, we need this one. Alright, so I need his ears. Where are his ears? There we go. Okay. I think I got everything.
All artistic works completed within the intellectual property of Fazbear Entertainment. Get down! Oh no! Those lights are telling us it's almost nap time.
Wait, do I have to color it now? Oh my gosh. There's no way.
What are you doing? Get the board! The board!
Is that a beak? Oh, you're right. It was a beak. Oh, he doesn't like it when I eat the food. Okay, I could see why this works better in VR. Because, like, the controller, I mean, it's... I wonder if I need to, maybe I need to speed up the sensitivity. Let's crank it up just a little bit. We'll put it at 1.5. And then see if that helps. That's a little smoother. Need that a time possibly? You think for 2? I mean, we could try it at 2. Whoa, that might be a bit too much. Let's dial it back to 1.5. Yeah, that might be a little better. Alright. Let's give this a shot.
Good friend, you're back. No time to mince words. Get to it.
Alright. So let's see, what am I painting here? Oh, I need to grab the, oh, that's what it looks like. There we go. So we got purple. And purple. And then yellow. And green. And then, oh, the eyes are purple. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. No! What? That's cruel. Alright, looks good to me.
What is it? Art. Creative on your own time. We are making art. Do it.
That was right.
Again.
What do you mean that again? What was wrong with it? I got that. Oh, the ear. It wasn't yellow, it was like an orange. Alright.
You stay in timeout until your parents arrive.
Ah. That sensitivity might be slightly too much. Yeah, I think that sensitivity needs to be dialed back just slightly. Like, we'll try that. Did that stick? Okay, it did stick. And then, yeah. Because I feel like 1.3, yeah, because like 1.5 is maybe a bit too much. It was on 1.0 before. But what I was noticing is for like the finer spots, I was overdoing it.
Fred, you're back. No time to mix roots. Get to it.
Alright, where is the... Oh, there we go. Okay, so green. Oh. Oh, that is wrong. Okay, Freddy is green. Here, here, and here. Really? You're not helping. Oh, he's red. He's red there. He's also red here. And then his ears are purple. And then his... all the stars. And then his face is yellow. And then that's it. How did we do?
Oh, wow, this'll look great on the fridge. For your next project, time to make paper towels. Paper towels will be your friends forever and ever and ever. All the necessary materials are here on the craft shelf. Let's see some hustle and bustle. If you don't see the item you're looking for, pull that fancy-looking cord.
Didn't I grab the beak? There we go. Okay, I need the arms. This is the most maddeningly hummable tune in the entire world, I swear to God. Okay, she needs Google Eyes, right?
Nice.
And then we also need the bow. And, oh, actually, we need more dots. No, not those. Wait, what? What are those? Those are the dots, right? Alright, well. There we go. Oh, she's missing one. Okay, I think we got it all.
It really speaks to me. And most of it's compliments. Can't work in the dark. Don't work in the dark. Never work in the dark.
Okay, so we got... Oh my gosh. The fact that you have to do this and color it in the time limit is stupid. Oh my gosh. Alright. I need the googly eyes. And I need the top hat. And then I gotta paint the damn thing. Alright, so we got blue. Blue. And blue. Then we got red. And then we got green. Which is this, and the eyes. Oh my gosh. And then we got for the one ear. And for that. Come on. Almost. Alright, I think we got it all.
Are you done yet?
Oh. I know, right? Imagine doing this in VR. Woohoo! Game 1. Oh, I get to see what I get for a prize? Freddy's Cupcake Bonanza. Alright. What'd I get? Oh, I got sun. For whatever that's worth. Okay. That was it? Okay, I guess. Alright, oh, there we go. Salon, staff makeover. Those are locked. Oh, that's a Vanny thing. Fazcade. These are locked. Bonkabong. Phaser Blast. Carousel. L Chips. Cold Storage. Ballora Gallery. Bonkadonk all the way. Score big on the Circus Babies Entertainment and Rentals most popular game of skill. Alright. There are Easter eggs in the game, but don't remember what. We'll figure it out. Okay, Plush Baby takes more hits, don't let her get you. Bonk the bonds to get a high score. Don't hit Helpy. I'm gonna hit that fucker. I saw what he did in Ruin. That bastard deserves it. Alright. Let's give it a shot. This one's easier in VR. It sounds about right. let's use the other side. I didn't even think about that. I guess I did pretty good for just having the one. Oh wow, now we got them on the sides. Whoa, they give me like no time. Also, how the hell are you supposed to see any of that? Like, it could be fine being this dark. It doesn't need to be any darker. The game's already hard enough. He doesn't have glowing eyes. Yeah, but I don't like them, so. Get out of here. Okay, that's lame. Yeah, I just have to kind of lock in. Get in there. All right. Let's see if I can do this. Fuck. Just gotta make sure you're using both your hammers to go pretty quick. Yeah. It's just that when there's two of them up, it's hard to get them both really fast. I got it. Nice. All right. Let's see what our prize is this time. A Bonkabon poster. All right. Cool. All right. So we knocked that one out. Now what do we got? Oh, there we go. Oh! DJ Music Time Beginner. What are these vannies? Should I try one of these? Or is that a bad idea? Can't yet. Need to do all of the others first before. Okay, okay. Alright. Prepare staff bots for showtime in the green room. Alright, let's do this one. Help the staff bots get ready for their performance. Put the right makeup on. The staff bots need to be on time. Don't make them angry. Don't forget the accessories. Take them from the mannequin heads and put them on the staff bot. Okay, so of course there's a time limit. There's always a time limit.
You must be the new wardrobe assistant. Help these staff prepare for showtime. They will need hats, glasses, and makeup. Your task is simple. Match the headshot. Confirm readiness and your next subject enters. Attention to detail is key. Be quick about it. Do not make them miss their cues. Supernumerary talent can hold a grudge. It is best practice to stay on their good side.
Okay. Okay, so... Wait, what? Oh, okay. They need the hat. And they need the glasses. And then they need... Oh, the makeup. So they need a little bit of... Oh my gosh. Need a little bit of... Chica for the eyes. And... Come on, Vanny. And they need a little bit of that for the blush. Is it both sides, I wonder? Probably. Alright, and then that's it, I guess. Done. Oh wait, those are the wrong glasses. There we go. Now we're done. Wait, what? No, it didn't show otherwise. Oh, okay, so only those parts. Gotcha. Okay, and then so we got a little bit of the blue Freddy here. And a little bit of the Roxy green. And then whatever the hell's going on with the face here. And oh, come on, Vanny. And then it looks like a mustache and a necklace. Oh, come on. This one's kind of tedious, to be honest.
Showtime staff report to wardrobe.
So grab that, and a little bit of Freddy there. We got the Monty for the lips. And then we got glasses and choker. And glasses. Right there. What? But I put them on there. Other Monty? I mean, I guess, but I put on the... Oh, Chica for the cheek. And blue Chica for the eye. And then we got... Is that a baseball cap? Oh, come on! And then a mustache. But it's not the right mustache. Is it that mustache? No. And then the tie. Yeah, this takes too long. Because with this one, you got to be more precise. There's too many small elements. Alright, so we got blue. And yellow. And then we got a bow tie. And hoop earrings. And is there hoop earrings on both sides? Oh my god, turn. And then yeah, there's too much room for error on the controller. I'll have to come back to that one. Yeah, there's too many like small little things you have to keep doing. Well, it wouldn't be a big deal if you didn't have to like pick between the different colors and then also select the accessories, and I think even on VR that one's probably tough. Ballora Gallery? Alright, we'll knock this one out. Welcome to the Balor's Party Room and Dance Studio. Ballora is looking for you. Don't let her catch you. Get to the exit quietly. Stay away from Ballora and the mini arenas. Oh, that sounds like a horror game. So how are you?
For your safety, please make your way to the exit. Please make your way to the exit in 5 minutes. 4, 3, 1 minute to exit.
Is someone there?
you hear her music close, you stop, and also avoid. Oh. So it's like a, okay, red light, green light.
For your safety, please make your way to the exit. Please make your way to the exit in 5 minutes.
Oh, there's... Oh, fuck that.
I can hear someone creeping through my... I can hear someone creeping through my room.
Come on, stop.
Perhaps not. I can hear someone creeping through my room.
Bro, really?
I can hear someone creeping through my room.
Where's the other one?
Perhaps not.
Bro. Come on. I'm so close to the door. That's evil. That is evil to turn on right there at the door. Come on. Oh, okay, I can see how tense that would be in VR. Holy crap. Ballora. Okay. Okay, that was kind of tense. Not too bad, though. Once you kind of understand the mechanics, it's not the worst. Breaker room? Oh no, the breaker room needs a manual reset. Oh, that sounds terrifying. Push the handles forward to complete the circuits and charge the gauges. Use the megaphone on Funtime Freddy to keep him away. This one sucks. All I can say is be aware of the bear.
Calm down and go back to sleep. No one is here.
Oh my god, my ears! So, is Freddy that statue?
Calm down and go back to sleep. No one is here. Oh, calm down. I think it was just a mouse.
Jesus Christ, man.
It's bedtime. Let's go back to our stage. Nope, no one is here.
Oh my god.
Calm down and go back to sleep. No one is here. Shh. Go back to your stage. Everything is okay.
Do I have to aim it at him?
Go back to your stage. Everything is okay.
Bro, this is ridiculous.
Oh, calm down. I think it was just a mouse.
It's not terrifying, it's annoying. Now, where are you?
Calm down and go back to sleep. No one is here. Nope, no one is here.
Go back to your damn statue.
Calm down and go back to sleep. No one is here.
Bro.
Nope, no one is here. Calm down and go back to sleep. No one is here. Calm down and go back to sleep. No one is here. Oh, calm down. I think it was just a mouse.
Bro, come on. I'm not even getting like enough time to... Okay,
Everything
forgot
is
that.
okay. Let's go back to sleep. Everything is okay. Let's go back to sleep.
Well, I'm just trying to like figure out the order here.
It's bedtime. Let's go back to our stage.
Are you not gonna go?
It's bedtime. Let's go back to our stage.
Holy shit. Why don't you go back to your stage for 2 seconds, bro?
Calm down and go back to sleep. No one is here.
Where are you at?
Calm down and go back to sleep. No one is here. It's bedtime. Let's go back to our stage. Calm down and go back to sleep.
Okay, I'm turning this
No
down.
one is here.
Okay. I'm gonna turn on the audio because that is just too much. Nobody needs to hear a megaphone every 2 seconds.
Shh. Go back to your stage. Everything is okay.
Alright, so. Why is it? I'll do that. Now what? Oh, there he is over there.
Oh, calm down. I think it was just a mouse. Everything is okay. Let's go back to sleep.
Oh, he's over there now. Well, I'm not trying to use the megaphone because it's in
You
my
must be hearing things, silly.
because it's in my hands. I'm accidentally triggering it when I'm trying to focus on the lever.
Everything is okay. Let's go back to sleep.
But the problem is like he's never going away. Like, you just need to go away for a few seconds, bro.
Oh, calm down. I think it was just a mouse.
So we got that. Like every time I start trying to focus on this, he shows up. I just want him to go far away. Like, he just doesn't want to.
Everything is okay. Let's go back to sleep.
Oh, where'd you go? Okay, I think I've tried every combination here.
Nope. No one is here.
Alright, so now he's back over there. You're good till he's breathing down your neck. Yeah, I know, but like... I need him to not move for like 2 seconds so I can look at what I'm doing. So... Because I'm... What? How does this go to what? Like... I don't understand the...
Oh, calm down. I think it was just a mouse.
See what I mean?
Calm down and go back to sleep. No
God damn
one
it.
is here. Oh, calm down. I think it was
Are we gone yet?
You must be hearing things, silly.
Alright. Go back to your thing.
Nope, no one is here. You must be hearing things, silly.
Come on. I'm assuming I'm trying to get the whole switch.
Nope, no one is here. Everything is okay. Let's go back to sleep.
Oh, I think I get it now. Hold on, I don't know where. Where's our buddy at?
Everything is okay. Let's go back to sleep.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Oh, calm down. I think it was just a mouse. Everything is okay. Let's go back to sleep.
Okay.
Oh, calm down. I think it was just a mouse.
Okay. So I think I get it.
Nope, no one is here.
Yeah, he's just hovering, man. Okay. So we gotta get that one full. Okay, so that one's full, that one's full.
Oh, calm down. I think it was just a mouse.
Alright, let's get him to get away from
Calm
me.
down. I think it was just a mouse.
Okay.
Oh, calm down. I think it was just a mouse.
Okay. So I'm missing.
Calm down and go back to sleep. No one is here. Oh, calm down. I think it was just a mouse.
Okay, so I just have this one. Which is.
Nope, no one is here.
Okay, that's the last one.
Everything is okay. Let's go back to sleep.
Alright. Is that the last one?
Great
Yes.
job. This completes your tasks for
Woohoo!
the night.
Alright. Wait, wrong one. There we go. Oh, man. Was I forgot about the yay after that. Hilarious that it's the exact same yay. So what do I think of Funtime Freddy? Honestly, he kind of is cool. I want to hug him, but I think he'd kill me. Funtime Freddy. The sock puppet thing is a little weird, but you know, I'm okay with that. At least he gives you some warning that he's coming after you. That's Bonbon? Ah. Oh no. Is this what I think it is? Oh no. This is Five Nights at Freddy's, like what the game is. No, I hate these versions. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it's worse. Oh, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. That doesn't give me no confidence whatsoever. All right, let's see here. Let's see how bad this gets. All right. Survive the night. Watch the cameras to check for danger. Close the office door if you feel threatened. Be careful not to run out of power. Make sure you don't run out of power before your shift is over. Oh, we are gonna fail this so much. Nah, it'll be all rainbows and sunshine. No, I'm pretty sure we're gonna die like the first night. Alright, so... Alright, so there's a door. Well, that's reassuring. Is there really no, like, more convenient way to do this? The clown is named Enard. Is it just clown? Well, no. Can we not? No one's home. Bro, what? kind of stressful, man. And he's back. Four. Oh, he's way back there now. The joy goes by actual minutes for hours on the clock. So it's not really 5 nights at Freddy's, it's 5 minutes at Freddy's. Oh shit, he's already right over here. Well, I don't understand why I'm losing so much in the first place. Is it because I'm flipping around the cameras like crazy? Enjoy some time at home. Not that hall on the door is closed for a minute. Oh, okay. Well, I passed it, so I'll take it. Entered. That is one creepy ass mother. Is that even a robot? Looks like a bunch of hentai tentacles found a home.
You are late for work. Does it hurt when they pull your strings? A gift awaits you in the distant past.
Interesting. In the sister location game, it takes over your body and controls you. Well, that's effing disturbing. Please don't touch. Oh. I like Sun. Although he is a little anxiety driven. Ha 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 ha. Ha. I just had to deal with a whole bunch of these the other day. He definitely doesn't scoop your insides out and wear your body like a husk and make it purple. Totally. Bro! That is, that is all kinds of wrong. Clash of Clowns. The Anxious Axolotl. Let's eat. There's no food. Gumball machines.
Gift awaits you in the distant past.
I guess that's all I'm getting out of that. Oh, come on, get off of that. Alright, well, I guess we start doing more stuff. But somehow after he leaves your body, you're still... Huh? That makes no sense. I mean, you know, evil animatronics that are possessed by the ghosts of children, so... yeah. Alright. Well, Vanny's got me on this one, so no more sister location. Ticket booth. Enjoy a ride on the classic Fazbear Antique Carousel. May require technical support. The carousel is broken. Fix it! Fix all the broken fuses, then replace any broken switches and turn on the power. Repair the circuit board. Oh, wait. Switches are too easy to rip out of their sockets. Adjust them slowly with no sudden movements. Repair the circuit board. Don't forget to solder in new wires with the soldering gun. Use a flashlight to keep Moon away. Oh no. Alright, I like Sun, but Moon can go to hell. Naughty, naughty. It's wild to think that the guy who did the voice of Freddy in Security Breach was also the voice of Sun and Moon. Like, what a range. What's wrong with Moon? Moon is the reason that I didn't officially complete Security Breach. Because right when I was about to get to the door to escape to the building at 6 o'clock, guess who popped up and teleported right in front of me? And I had to do that stupid puzzle over again. Yeah. So I'm sure on like the PC version it's a little easier to do the puzzles that you like, the Simon Says color puzzles for upgrading Freddy, but on the PlayStation 5 version it's you have to match it and then like figure out how the colors match up to the buttons on your controller, and it kept just messing with my brain the whole time. So I managed to get through. I didn't get Chica's voice box because I did them out of order. I did Monty's Golf first instead of Fazbear, the Space Freddy thing. So I didn't get Chica's voice box because of that. When I got Roxy, I got her eyes, and bam. So like, I kept messing it up bad because it's the most complicated one. And then once you get his eye, get Roxy's eyes in there, the pizza place turns into Moon's thing for a little bit, right? Because it's, the top of the hour. But you can't save. So the problem I was running into is I would finally, after many attempts of dying and stuff, I would finally get Roxy's eyes installed. And then when I was escaping, Moon would like teleport into weird spots and then catch me. And so my final straw was I had just made it to the door, and like he was behind me, and then he just teleported in front of me right at the door. And at that point, I'm like, "Fuck the shit! We're YouTubing the ending, and we're just gonna call it good right there." Like I was so mad. I tilted. So yeah, Yeah, I was not happy with that. So hardcores may stay up. No, I didn't even. I was at the point where when you get to the doors, Freddy offers you the choice. I got to the point just before I got to the doors, so Freddy hadn't been able to offer me the choice yet. Moon spawned like literally right in front of me, because he was behind me as I was leaving the entrance area, you know, with like the steps and all that were Chica's going up and down the whole time, like right at the front doors. He got right in front of me, so yeah, game over. And then I tried to go the other route, the backstage, because, you know, just to see what would happen. I got to the backstage, I hit the button for the elevator, and Freddy wouldn't let me back in. Like, he wouldn't let me back in his chest. The prompt didn't show up or anything, and then Moon jumped me there too. So yeah, couldn't win either way. Have I seen the way Moon flies? Yeah, but he's got like all of the animatronics have these weird glitchy teleporting things that happen with them. But Moon's is particularly like annoying because when he spawns, he doesn't always immediately like aggro you. He'll like do this like weird acrobatic-y dance and stuff like that, and then he'll start like moving towards you. But he'll always teleport to your whatever your vicinity is. And then if you don't get somewhere safe, boom, he gets you, right? So I just didn't get to the entrance fast enough, and because of that, the game got all weird. So it happens. But yeah, Moon is the reason why I couldn't beat the game. And I blame Moon, but like truly what it is I just got sick of doing that stupid eye puzzle over and over again. If I could have installed the eyes and then saved and then had the whole thing with Moon happen, I would have finished the game because I wouldn't have crashed out as hard. But having to redo that puzzle over and over again, even if I had no problems with solving it, I still would have gotten really mad, because you know, it's tedious to have to go through that whole procedure every single time. So I just found it was a really bad design decision. You should have been able to install Roxy's eyes and then save, and then 6 o'clock happens or something along those lines. Rather than like if you don't say, you know, you don't get to save, and you have to, if you die for any reason, you have to reinstall the eyes every single time. So what I look forward to is seeing when you play Secret of the Mimic. Yes, the physical copy of it comes out for the PS5 in a couple of weeks. I will be buying that and will definitely be playing it. So because I'm invested at this point. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I've seen some spoilers for it, nothing too crazy, but like, you know, I know it takes place in the past, and it's the origin of the Mimic and all that kind of stuff. So, and then I just saw, well, actually, I mean, I suppose the news is a couple weeks old for some people, but I just saw that they are teasing Ruin 2, or whatever will be Ruin 2, whether it's a new DLC for Security Breach, which I don't think it'll be. I think it's going to be a standalone project, but it's going to be a sequel to Security Breach and Ruin. So I think the reason why Mimic came out was to kind of prepare us for, you know, like basically, because at the end of Ruin, Cassie gets dropped like 30 feet down in an elevator. And Roxy is probably down there too, because it sounds like she fell under some rubble or something, or like a floor collapsed. So, because there's no sign of her, and I don't think the Mimic destroyed her per se. I think he just got her out of the way because he was chasing Cassie. So I think what happens is Cassie and Roxy are trapped even further below the Pizzaplex, in the area where Secret of the Mimic is taking place, that old mansion on top of the hill. So, and there's a bunch of hints in Security Breach and Ruin that kind of like lend to that. So yeah, I think that's what they're doing. So that way, when you're playing Ruin 2 or Security Breach 2, whatever you want to call it, you'll be like, oh, okay, you know, you'll be doing that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where you're pointing at the screen, you know, because you're going to be like, oh, I remember that for Secret of the Mimic, or, you know, so on and so forth. So in the first Ruin DLC, you escape the pizza place. No, you don't escape at all. You don't escape at all. Cassie has 3 endings. She has the Brazil ending is what they call it, where she hits a dead end. There's an old Fredbear standee, and she puts it on, and she basically just having a happy dream, but she knows that it's fake. That's why you can hear her like heavy breathing, because the mimic is right behind her and he's about to kill her. And then there's the other ending, which is the claw arm ending. So that's with the mascot, because he gets into the mascot costume. The claw arm basically grabs him and just beats him up, but it's very inconclusive as to if she gets out, or if the mimic is even dead. Like, it just ends, right? And then the third ending, which is most likely the canon ending, is she makes it to the elevator, the mimic's arm gets chopped off by the door closing on it, and then as the elevator's going up, Gregory is on like the megaphone explaining how things all went wrong, and then something weird happens and there's a squawk in the megaphone, and then he basically betrays her for some reason. It could be the mimic faking his voice, we don't know, but the elevator gets dropped and it just starts careening down even further past where she was fighting the mimic, so, or I guess escaping the mimic. So if that's the canon ending, then Cassie is way down below the Pizzaplex, even further below the mimic and everything. So nope, she does not get out of the pizza place. So yeah. Yeah, nope. Gregory gets out of the pizza place. He gets out with Freddy's head, and Vanessa's Vanny thing is all broken. So, because the mask you have in Ruin that you're using to solve all the puzzles, that's actually Vanny's mask from Security Breach. So, yeah. And that was the speculation, is that Gregory might have dropped the elevator to prevent her from getting to the surface, because now that she has the chip in her head from the mask, she could become a new Vanny. But no, there's no escape with Gregory. That's the Brazil ending. It's just an illusion. Yep, I'll prove it to you. Here. Yeah, I'll prove it to you. I'll show you all the endings for Ruin. Okay. Okay, so all right, so these are going to be the four, well, I guess 4 endings, but here, we'll pop that on. So these are the endings for Ruin, and the one that you're looking for.
Gregory, you okay?
By the way, for anybody who hasn't played Ruin, this is the ending of Ruin, so if you don't want to spoil the ending of Ruin, don't watch it.
You saved me. You saved me. Gregory? I'm Gregory.
You're not Gregory. What are you?
I'm Gregory.
Cassie, get out of here! Run!
Roxy for the win. So then they're fighting.
Cassie, can you hear me?
Gregory,
That's actually Gregory.
is that really you? I mean, really you.
So if you watch right at the beginning when she gets to this spot here, so she's solving this puzzle, right? On the other side of this, well, damn it, if there's a better way to do the layout, you don't actually get to see it in this one. All right, so this is the ending that is the Brazil ending. So she's running from the mimic. She takes a wrong turn. She goes the wrong way. So right there is the Fredbear standee, and she puts on the Vanny mask, and this is what happens.
Cassie, I'm okay. I found a spot to hide.
That's the ending, that she doesn't actually escape with him. It's all fake. You can see like the fake balloons and all that's all flat. So that's not the right Freddy. That's Vanessa for some reason, but you don't get to see her face. And he's just having ice cream. Like, but this is the tree that's right outside of the Pizzaplex. You get this in several endings with Freddy, but this is all fake. That's why you hear her breathing is like that. No, there is this ending. So this is what's going to most likely be the canon ending. So she makes it through the hallway here.
Cassie, it's me. I think I need to explain a few things. You were never supposed to go to the Pizzaplex. That thing in the sinkhole tricked you. I really don't know what it is, but it's been trapped down here a really long time. The Mex's security program was designed to keep it hidden, but you shut down the security, and now it's free. It's not your fault. I know you did it for me, to save me, but we can't risk being followed. I'm sorry.
Gregory? No!
So he's a robot. You know, I haven't. I've seen that theory be talked about. I have not actually watched that theory yet. But yeah, that was the elevator betrayal ending, which this has several questions to it. So like the first question that pops in my brain with this is right at the beginning of the game, there's the robot that gives her the mask. Clearly that mask was planted for this purpose, to get the mimic freed, right? So, and then he also has Gregory's walkie-talkie. So, it's interesting that like, and I hope there's an explanation of this, like how Gregory, who escaped the Pizzaplex, came back to the Pizzaplex, and then somehow not only figured out what was going on with the mimic, but then like figured out a way to keep the mimic contained. Like there's a whole blank spot which does not explain where the mimic, like how he got to where he is in this Pizzaplex right now. And then on top of that, like Gregory, it doesn't make any sense what he just did. So like the mimic is there, right, chasing her, and Gregory is giving her instructions to get her out alive, which if he didn't want to do that, he could have just let her die from the mimic. But he guided her to the elevator, and then it seemed like she was gonna be free, right? But then he's like, actually no, and then he just drops her. And that doesn't make any sense either. Also, the language is weird. So he says, the program was designed...
And now it's free. Hidden.
There.
But you're a really long time.
It's been trapped down here a really long time. This does not make any sense, because this would imply that Gregory is actually inside the Pizzaplex right now. Which he's not. He's not here at all. Like, the whole thing was that Cassie was all set up by the mimic, right? But that's the other thing, too, is like, there's no explanation for why Cassie just kind of shows up at the Pizzaplex and decides to go wander through ruined area on a hunch that Gregory might be there. That's kind of weird. So I don't know. There's some things that need some more fleshing out and some explanations. But yeah, this right here stands out. It's, you know, been trapped down here a really long time. This implies that Gregory's down here with you, which he shouldn't be.
The Nexus security program was designed to keep it hidden.
And then the Nexus security program was designed to keep it hidden. That computer that you come across towards the end there doesn't make any sense either, how old it is. And the developers know this because there's an interview where they were like, yeah, that was there before Gregory and Vanessa. So
But you shut down the security. And now it's free. It's not your fault.
And then that little like squawk thing, and everything changes right here. It's now, now it's free. But like there's two Gregory subtitles. And then it goes into, it's not your fault. I know you did it for me.
I know you did it for me. To save me.
But we can't risk being followed? That doesn't make any sense either. Who is we? Like, it's just out of the blue. So, and then it's like, why would he go to save your life if he doesn't want you to follow him?
But we can't risk being followed. I'm sorry.
Gregory? No!
So yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Possibly him and Freddy? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And then you have this at the end here. If they skip to the credits. Come on. He's gonna play the whole thing. No, they didn't play the part. At the end of the credits, you hear Roxy saying, Cassie? Of course, you don't know if it's Roxy here for real or not. And then this is the claw ending. You can actually see the mimic inside the costume. Then that's it. That's the ending. So who knows what that ending is, right? And then it's just the credits rolling. So those are the three endings of Security Breach Ruin. So the most likely one is the elevator, because the other two are just, one, she very clearly is going to die, and two, who knows what happened to her, because the game just kind of ends. Is the mimic defeated? Does she escape? You don't know. So yeah, but I mean, we could look up the Gregory is a robot thing, because I'm curious about that one, because I've seen a lot of people talk about that. I do not want to watch the game theorists talk about it. Let's see here. How about this guy? I've been watching a lot of his videos.
Hello everyone, Twisted Animatronic here, and one thing that's always confused me in FNaF is this mad lad Gregory. I mean, why is he wearing a band-aid for starters? It's an odd choice of fashion accessory. Why does he suddenly disappear at the end of Security Breach? I mean, where does he go?
Oh, so that was the ending of Security Breach. You see the trees there? It's the same hill.
The end of Security Breach. I mean, where does he go? I mean, does he in fact even disappear? Does he leave the Pizzaplex? With so many different endings and so many different interpretations, it's really difficult to actually find out what's happened to Gregory. Isn't that right, Freddy? Where's my superstar? What exactly is Gregory's story? What actually happened to him after the events of Security Breach leading up and into Ruin? Well, we're going to be solving them mysteries today, my friends, and believe me, this is one hell.
Where the hell is that hill at? So that hill is actually, God, one of his videos actually points out where that hill is. That hill is actually, so the mansion that the Secret of the Mimic takes place in, kind of behind, but like next to the building, the mansion or whatever, is that hill. It's built on the hill. And then there's a lower bunker underneath the mansion where all the animatronics are like made and stored and everything. And then when you're on the hill in like Security Breach, the endings and stuff, you're actually overlooking like the city and the factories and all that kind of stuff. And what you see in Security Breach is just the other side of the hill. Like basically you're in Mimic, you see the left side. In Security Breach, you see the right side. So that's why it doesn't quite match up. But the in-game files, you can actually no clip out and you can actually see like the tree and everything. And it looks just like the ones in the endings.
So strap in, hit subscribe right now, because immediately I'd like to talk about this bit of evidence with the Band-Aid. Now throughout Ruin we obviously play as Cassie and we come across numerous cardboard cutouts, right? And this one to me was extremely interesting. You see these cutouts here and these come from Ruin, and Cassie's there, she's down on her knees, she's sobbing, and next to her is Gregory and he's obviously comforting her. But have you noticed something? A certain fashion accessory on his cheek seems to be missing. That's right, he doesn't have a Band-Aid. And I thought that was pretty odd, but at first I thought, perhaps this is showing us the time Cassie had her birthday party and nobody showed up, right? That would make sense why he's there comforting her and she's crying. Well, that's what I thought, but then you have Roxy actually say this.
Have you booked your party? I'm sure your friends will show up this time.
Aww.
That tells me that Roxy was there and nobody else. Gregory was not there. So this scene doesn't relate to her birthday party. This is sometime either A, before security breach, or B, after it. And here's the thing, I believe this was just after her birthday party. You know, we see the room.
Killer Frequency. I've seen the game. I've never played it, but it did look interesting.
Where the guests have their birthday parties in security breach. I believe Cassie had her birthday party all on her own with Roxy, left, got really upset outside the room, was on her knees crying, and this is where Gregory seemingly comes into play and comes along. That would then explain why there's no Band-Aid on his face, right? He must literally get that just before security breach's playthrough. Now I know it's not really important, Gregory's Band-Aid, but it's always bugged me and I really wanted to nail down the reasons. And when I say reasons, I mean why he didn't have one in these posters but does in security breach. Now we'll finalize that once and for all later in the video, because right now I really want to focus.
Wait a minute. Let me look at that picture again. Oh, that is interesting. I just realized that. So on her shirt, she has the stars, right? That's Roxy's colors. And Roxy has a star on her chest. And if you look at his little chest thing here, that's Freddy. Because, like, there's the top hat, and then you have the ears. That's interesting. I don't know if that's intentional, but it probably is.
Didn't have one in these posters, but does in security breach. Now,
she also has Roxy's makeup. If you look, she got the purple eyes and stuff, and the lipstick.
Have one in these posters, but does in security breach. Now we'll finalize that once and for all later in the video, because right now I really want to focus on the topic, which is what actually happened to Gregory at the end of security breach. Does he actually go missing? We see numerous times throughout security breach, Ruin, and even in one of the endings that he goes missing. You know, the ending where Gregory's in an alley.
You're right. I should make a 20-minute YouTube video explaining the intricacies of the, theory about how. No, I'm not going to do that. But I have thought about it.
He puts like a newspaper over him covering himself, and you've got the missing poster literally on that newspaper. Even in Ruin's playthrough as Cassie, there are numerous missing posters. Again, I'd like to point out that these feature his Band-Aid. So does that mean then that after the collapse of the Pizzaplex, which we know evidently happens because the start of Ruin is literally at the collapsed Pizzaplex, does it mean that he just goes missing, never returns home? I mean, that then makes sense and lines up with the missing posters we see throughout Ruin in like Cassie's memories or the AR world. All of these pieces of evidence point to the fact that Gregory never went home after the Pizzaplex, right? Well, that isn't true because that doesn't line up with Cassie's attitude in Ruin. I know, you're probably scratching your head thinking, Cassie's attitude in Ruin? Yes, 100% Cassie's attitude. Throughout Ruin's playthrough, we can clearly tell that Cassie has so much empathy for all the animatronics. She literally feels sorry for Chica, even though she's literally a killing machine. She feels sorry for Roxy, and just has so much empathy throughout the playthrough. So then why is she so annoyed at Gregory in her tone and everything?
Except for Monty, because apparently nobody likes Monty.
Everything else.
Hey,
I mean,
Dark
if he was
Nova.
missing, trapped in this abandoned Pizzaplex, she'd be worried sick, right? That doesn't...
About to head to work, but hope you have a good stream. Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for coming in and saying hi. And yes, Jason, it could be a ranch stream. I like doing this. This is fun. This is just as fun as playing the game. I like going into topics like this and having conversations with people and seeing what they think about all this kind of stuff. Because, like, as cool as it is to play, Hope Wanted 2, it is just a bunch of mini games. I'm actually more interested in doing this kind of stuff where we deep dive into videos and talk about the lore and all that kind of stuff. Because, like I said, to me, this is pretty cool stuff. So, and if anybody's got some fresh perspectives on stuff, I'm all for it.
seem to be the case, almost as if he wasn't missing and he's playing a prank on Cassie. Help me, Cassie, I'm trapped. Help me, Cassie, I'm trapped in the head. We literally know from the newest book, Escape from the Pizzaplex, and the book GGY, that Gregory was a massive prankster. And not only that, she'd be so upset if Gregory had been missing for several months, and we just don't feel that coming through in Ruin. In fact, she just seems more annoyed. When in fact, in one piece of dialogue, she's really annoyed that she has to walk over to the other side of the Pizzaplex. Now, if your best friend was in mortal danger and been missing for several months, you wouldn't be annoyed to go and find them. You'd be wanting to find them immediately. You wouldn't be like, oh, that's all the way over the other side of the Pizzaplex. I don't want to go in there. I don't want to save you. That's because he hasn't been missing for several months. He must have literally seen her very recently and is almost sure that she has to go in there and find him. That explains her attitude in Ruin, showing that at that point in time, Gregory hasn't been missing several months. And the missing poster we see in one of the endings is exactly that. An ending which doesn't happen. We know that doesn't happen because in that ending, Gregory literally gets killed by Vanny. But then how do we explain the other missing posters in...
That's the ending I would have gotten had I actually made it to the door, and Moon hadn't caught me, because I was just gonna get the bad ending, which is just when you leave the Pizzaplex and you don't stay. I was just gonna get the bad ending and then move on and just watch all the endings and then go to Ruin. So I didn't do that, but I still ended up watching all the endings anyway.
FNaF Ruin? Well, that's simple. At that point in time where she sees the missing posters and the cardboard cutouts is in the AR world. We don't actually physically see them posters in the real world. Therefore, this could be all Cassie's fears coming to fruition, coming to, the forefront of her mind. We know the Vanny mask she is wearing is manipulating her perception of things, bringing all her fears out. We know this is the Mimic's doing, and helped by that probe which is inserted in her frontal lobe, right? Don't know why my hand was up there, but But then if Gregory hasn't been missing for several months before Ruin, what has he been up to? Where has he been? And where is Freddy?
I want to see...
Oh, that bit right there. That's what I was trying to tell you about. So just outside the room where the Mimic is in Ruin, there's this backpack, which is clearly, it's from Gregory, because Gregory has this backpack in Security Breach. This is probably where the Mimic got that walkie-talkie. But still, yeah. Another possibility is when Vanny appears, your vision is glitchy when you play as Gregory. Yeah, Vanny is able to, the reason why the animatronics go crazy in Security Breach is because of Vanny. Vanny basically uses some kind of a virus on the robots, which makes them not go crazy per se, but it amplifies all of their worst traits. For Monty, it makes him a rage monster, which he's already an angry, aggressive guy as it is, right? For Roxy, it amplifies all of her insecurities about not being the best. And then for Chica, it amplifies all of her cravings to for food and everything, because of the stress she deals with worrying about other people. Because if you actually watch the beginning of Security Breaches, cinematics and stuff, it shows that Chica's actually one of the most caring of the group. She rushes to Freddy's side when he has his glitch and all that kind of stuff. But the reason why Freddy doesn't have the issues that the other animatronics do is because when Freddy collapsed on the stage, he booted into safe mode, so he wasn't infected with the virus like the other robots were. So that's why they've all been they all went crazy. It was all Vanny's fault. And you know this because if you do the ending where you find Vanny's hideout, you find out that Vanny actually can control the security bots too, which in one of the endings actually ends up becoming her own undoing. But yeah, so it's Vanny that's the one that's doing that.
And where is Freddy?
I want to see my little boy.
Here he comes.
I want to see my little boy.
And does that mean he stayed in the Pizzaplex after Security Breach, or did he leave? Well, let's look at the evidence. And for that, we'd have to work out which ending is canon.
That I understand, but how does she appear glitchy when you're out of Freddy and whatnot? That's a great question. I don't really know. So, she has the ability to not appear in front of Freddy. Freddy doesn't notice her until he gets Roxy's eyes, which is interesting. But Roxy, this dude has a whole thing about Roxy's eyes too. But Freddy, Gregory sees Vanny. Freddy does not for most of the game. And like the closer you get to her, the worse the interference gets, which is how you can tell she's about to kill you. A similar effect happens with the cyber rabbit thing from the security system in Ruin. The longer he's up and the closer he gets to you, the more the static is, which is when you're wearing the Vandy mask. So I think the mask itself creates like an interference of the mind to everything around it. It's just that the effect is like super strong on the person who's wearing the mask because of the like chip or node or whatever that gets put in their brain. That's my guess, but to be honest, I don't really know.
No, I'm not going to break down all the endings of which one was canon, which one isn't canon, because I've done all that in the past video, and to do a quick speedrun, a combination of the endings are canon. We know that because all the events in some of the endings transfer into Ruin. Like I said, not going to fully explain it because I've done it in previous videos. But there is one thing in Ruin which gives me a dead giveaway as to say that Gregory...
See all that static in that fight? That was from the rabbit.
The real Gregory is indeed still in the Pizzaplex at the end. You know the elevator bit at the very end of Ruin? You know, where Gregory's talking to her through the walkie-talkie? He says this bit of dialogue.
I really don't know what it is, but it's been trapped down here a really long time.
That bit of dialogue right there tells me he is still in the Pizzaplex. Otherwise, you wouldn't say it's been trapped here a really long time. You'd say it's been trapped in there or down there, indicating you're away from that location. The choice of wording matters massively in FNaF and at this point in time. And I know you might be thinking, well, we don't see him in the Pizzaplex and we're in the Pizzaplex in Ruin, so how is he not there? Well, think logically for a second. Do we go to every single area of this abandoned Pizzaplex in Ruin? No. In fact, there are several massive areas which feature hugely in the main game, which we don't explore. The main auditorium, the Faz Kids, you know, the place where Music Man was. There's so many locations we don't even see. So to say he isn't there without fully exploring all the locations doesn't make sense. We also know he has numerous hidey holes which he was living in throughout the Pizzaplex. You know, all the little rooms we go into in Security Breach as Gregory? Well, believe it or not, that's where he was actually living in GGY and in the book Escape the Pizzaplex. These little cubby holes, which we thought belonged to Mike and anyone else we could theorize, actually, they belong to Gregory. That's where he was staying in the Pizzaplex, using them to stay after hours. It could even be possible he was still in one of these rooms during Ruin. Granted, it might be completely destroyed, or at least nowhere near as habitable as it was in Security Breach, but it's an option. You see, what I believe actually happened and where Gregory went after Security Breach's ending is he decided to take down the big bad, the big nasty, which is the Mimic. He frees Vanessa. In this instance, she's no longer Vanny. They work together to go and find the MXEX. We know this because someone takes it away from the original location. We literally know that from the trailer and from that little teaser in the Help Wanted 2 update.
I didn't know
Someone
that.
drives there, puts the MXEX in the back of the van which looks suspiciously like the van at the ending of one of Security Breach's ending, with Gregory driving the van with Freddy. But what actually happens is Vanessa, Gregory, and Freddy go get the MXEX. Almost butchered that name then. Take it to the Pizzaplex to try and control/contain the Mimic. They are then making the preparations to keep the Mimic under control, all while the Mimic is contacting Cassie to bring her to the Pizzaplex to undo Gregory, Freddy, and Vanessa's work. This then confidently explains two things. One, that Gregory did leave the Pizzaplex even for a short while to go and get the MXEX, but returned because someone had to bring it there, right? And when he did return, he stayed there, ensuring preparations were made to keep the Mimic under lock and key, and that he didn't escape. It would then explain why he was still in touch with Cassie, because he never went missing. It explains her attitude and the fact that why she wasn't extremely concerned for Gregory. That's because she had prior contact to him. He hadn't gone missing. He was just going back and forth the Pizzaplex. And when he didn't have contact for a few days, because he was literally battling the Mimic or containing the Mimic, that's when the Mimic had reached out to Cassie to say, come and rescue me, I'm trapped in the Pizzaplex. Clearly hadn't been trapped in there several months, maybe had been a few days max, hence why she was angry at Gregory as such, just in case it was another prank. This then explains throughout Ruin and the dialogue we have with the Mimic, seemingly the Mimic has to persuade Cassie to come and find Gregory, almost like she doesn't want to because she knows A, he isn't missing, B,
That kind of makes sense,
danger,
actually.
and C, she's thinking, is this Gregory just playing a prank on me again? It may be, but if it's real, I could never live with myself, so I will go and find him. Hence why the Mimic is constantly like, oh, please, please come and save me, Cassie, please, it's got me trapped. And she's like, oh, it's all the way over the other end of the Pizzaplex, Gregory. Really? Must I come and do it? And like, yeah, please, please, please. She's like, oh, okay, this best not be another prank again. Again, further reinforcing the point, he was never missing. But the one thing which still bugs me, and the one thing we've still got to solve, is that fashion accessory band-aid on his face. It still bugs the hell out of me. We know from them cutouts he didn't have it at one point, but does now. How did he get it? And I think because we never really gonna get a concrete answer, it's gonna keep bugging me until we do. I mean, we could make up all kinds of scenarios.
This is not the robot one.
Band-aid on his face.
I was wondering if he'd ever get to the robot thing.
Before Security Breach, where Freddy and Gregory knew each other. You know, when he was Dr. Rabbit in GGY. Him potentially climbing in and out in Freddy, scratched his face, or he literally fell over. There is so many scenarios. And just in case you're wondering, the Band-Aid theory isn't a serious one. Just wanted to put that in there.
Oh my gosh. Not a robot. This guy's pretty sure that he's not a robot. What happens when you find Gregory is an animatronic N? Oh, that's just somebody. Is Gregory a robot? Does Gregory know he's a robot? Damn, Chica. You got some hips? Answer some more questions and give me the answer. Right? The Rockseat glitch, but it's Markiplier animated?
Hello, excuse me, I have a pass. Take this. I know, okay, get out. Ah! Well, last parting gift, I guess. I'll try to get in there. Whoa!
Wait. What's the source here?
Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome back to Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, I don't want to watch the whole thing.
Hello,
I thought it was going to reference just the clip. All right. Gregory is a robot theory. Okay, maybe I can learn how to type. Let's see here. Okay, this guy's just doing dumb theories. Maybe we should just do MatPat. Yeah, maybe. All right, what was it? Don't trust Gregory. Nah, don't worry about it. Scroll through, it does. See, I think from that picture that this would be... I'm just really disappointed in that.
After years of waiting, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach has finally launched, and with cold-hearted savage to Roxy and the rest of the animatronic gang.
I'm so mad that you're driving without my permission. Oh my gosh!
That was my reaction.
Is brutal.
My friends, the answers to those questions will recontextualize everything that you thought you knew about this series. So let's begin.
I'm pretty sure that MatPat made his entire career off of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that
only cinematic scene in the game. Is that true? Well, I mean, there are the opening cinematics, and then there's the one for Freddy and Vanessa, where Freddy gets all destroyed. The only one that replays. Oh, yeah. That's true.
Face with FNaF lore, like Chica stuffs her face with pizza and garbage. I guess at this point it kind of applies to us too. Anyway, if you want to stuff your YouTube feed with FNaF videos, then hit that subscribe Stuff that,
No.
quite frankly, I'm still working on piecing together. This is a big game with lots of places to hide things. But today, I want to focus on a mystery that I do feel like I have a pretty solid handle on. The relationship between Gregory and Glamrock Freddy. What's the deal with this random kid, and why is a killer animatronic suddenly trying to help him? Like, seriously, the game kicks off with this incredible cutscene. Everyone is living their best 80s-tastic lives on stage before Freddy suddenly glitches out and smash cut to Gregory just being there, I guess. It is one of the weirdest, most jarring intros to a game ever. And then from that point forward, we're just expected to assume that everything is perfectly normal, no explanations necessary. So I'm here to give you that explanation, because I strongly suspect that this boy is not a boy, and this robot is not a robot, and that the story of their relationship is one that's trying to make amends for one of the earliest and most pivotal points from this entire franchise. To begin, let's establish what we do know about Gregory in order to piece together the rest. So
I will say this. This video is 3 years ago. So this was around the time the Security Breach first came out. One of the things that's kind of come out about Security Breach in the year since is that Scott did not really give Sealwool much to go on to make the story for this. So they kind of just went with it. So trying to break down like what is and isn't part of the lore, kind of hard. But
what does the game offer us in terms of his backstory?
I'm always up for a fun
First
theory.
and foremost, we know that he's pretty much off the radar. At the start of the game, Freddy does a quick scan only to realize
your guest profile is unknown to me.
Similarly, when security guard Vanessa is chatting it up with Freddy, we hear this part of their conversation.
That is great news. He can be returned to his parents.
He can't. Turns out, there's no record of him.
Clearly, Gregory is not a guest at the Pizzaplex. It also seems like he has nowhere else to go. In the game's bad ending, unlocked by just leaving the building at 6 a.m., we see Gregory winding up in an alleyway sleeping in a cardboard box. He appears to be homeless. He's an orphan. This then explains a few other things that we see around the Pizzaplex. In a couple of hidden locations around the building, we find little dens that are filled with drawings, plushies, and beds. The most notable one being the one behind the daycare center. Gregory seems to be living inside the pizza.
I don't remember any of those when I played
explains his
Security
lack of a
Breach.
guest pass. We can't even be sure that his name is
Yeah.
Gregory. In the game's opening scene, Gregory has...
You mean MatPat did? You think I should just find that video first and instead of watching this one? Yeah. Oh, let's see here. Security Breach Ruin. The AI Uprising. I Solved Ruin. And then we got these guys. Interesting. Let's see. So which one do you want to watch? We can do FNaF, Buried and Forgotten, Security Breach Ruin. Can do Bonnie's Haunted Past. Yeah, but we've already seen the Bonnie thing. Maybe he solved Ruin? Possibly? There's the AI stuff. Let's see. Help Wanted 2. He has one about Help Wanted 2. He solved Ruin. Alright, we're gonna do that one. Oh, there you go.
Hello Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, where today it's the best of times and it's the worst of times. I mean, on one hand, FNaF fans be eating good this month. There's books, there's a teaser for the movie, there's a trailer for Security Breach's Ruin DLC, heck, there's even a brand new FNaF VR sequel that literally got announced as I'm recording this episode. It is all super exciting stuff. I hope you're prepared to engorge yourself in
So he hasn't even played Ruin as of this one. Right?
Or like Chica consuming a pizza. It is literally the year of FNaF, which is fitting since it's 2023 and that's the year of FNaF 3. Also, probably FNaF 6. Honestly, the only thing they're missing from this year is some sort of haunted attraction. But on the other hand, there is chaos in the wider theorist community. Buried in this landslide of new material are a lot, and I mean a lot, of very significant lore drops that feel unusually explicit for this franchise. Hints to the origins of Henry, revelations about secret AI programs controlling the Pizzaplex, confirmation that Gregory was in fact Patient 46. But here's the thing,
I don't know what
no
any
one
of
can
this
actually
means.
agree on what it's all trying to say. Everyone recognizes that there's been a lot of very important stuff that's being revealed lately, but every online FNaF theorist that I've seen has taken the clues and wound up with a different solution to the puzzle. And normally that's not a big issue. That is the beauty of theorizing, to reach your own conclusions, to make your own predictions, to come up with your own personal headcanons as part of the internet hive mind's attempts to work together and solve a common mystery. There are going to be people that you agree with and people that you don't, and you know what? It's great either way. Except this time we
FNaF.
kinda gotta sort of figure it out. What we're
Real quick, Google Patient 46. Man, why are you making me work? Patient 46. Let's see here. Also known as GGY or Patient 46 is the major character in Steel Era. Okay. Let's see here. Not much is known about his past. Gregory would eventually enter Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex and somehow started working for the Mimic, under possession by the Glitch Trap virus. This would lead him to hacking all the Glamrock animatronics to make them hostile and lethal, manipulating the Pizzaplex's night guard trainee Vanessa A into following the Mimic's instructions, and killing any therapist that came close to learning the truth through unknown but brutal means. Sometime before the events of the game, Gregory breaks free from the Mimic's influence, leading to him trying to escape the Pizzaplex. He presumably reverted Glamrock Freddy back to his original programming, and teamed up with him so he could evade Vanessa and wreck the Glamrocks hunting him down. He would then play all the Princess Quest arcades, allowing him to defeat the Mimic inside the games and free Vanessa from his control. Afterwards, he presumably created the MXES program to keep the Mimic inside Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. When his friend Cassie was tricked by the Mimic into entering the Pizzaplex to set it free, Gregory contacted her at the end of the journey. Huh. So, what? I will admit that as much as I did explore through Security Breach, I am positive I missed a ton of stuff. So, according to the therapist, Gregory is an introverted boy. He hates bright lights and prefers dark spaces. He dislikes flowers. He has a little bit of a side business troublemaker. He is unusually good at computing and hacking. Likes candy, talks to himself, likes watching sports but not playing them, likes masks and disguises, and finds the idea of the therapist having a timeout funny. He's also very quiet, never being heard speaking during the recordings, though it is mentioned to have described himself as sad and scared to one of them off screen. Huh. The information on Gregory's past identified as Patient 46 is detailed in the Tales from the Pizzaplex story GGY, and thus may not be entirely canon. Some fans speculate that the Gregory who betrayed Cassie at the end of Rome was actually just the Mimic impersonating him once again, trying to not let Cassie get away. On the side of the Mimic being responsible, a strange noise is heard in the middle of Gregory's transmission, which causes his tone to change, which could mean the Mimic hacked the transmission to make Cassie despair. Furthermore, the Mimic is implied to be able to control electronics, and may have controlled its severed arm to disable the lift mechanisms. As the Mimic is rather large and strong, it may have also viewed the elevator shaft itself as a viable exit, and crashed the elevator not just out of spite, but also to clear the path for its escape. Huh. On the other hand, the main evidence used for that theory, the squeak sound effect in the middle of the transmission of Gregor's dialogue at the end of I Know You Did It For Me, were both in the unused ending in the files where Gregory spares her instead of killing her. Also, there was an unused ending where Gregory spared her. Maybe that's the one you're remembering. This hints that the broadcast was never hijacked in the normal ending, and an Easter egg of seeing a staff bot controlled by Gregory that explained what was going on in the elevator. Gregory was hacking into stuff at the Pizzaplex and could have hacked into a robot made of sabotage the elevator instead of directly controlling the mechanisms. Though those lines were in the unused ending, it's possible that as scripts they could easily be disproved and edited. Since the ending never made it into the game, this suggests that the speaker could have been hijacked. Thus, the Mimic could still potentially have cut the elevator line and cannot be entirely Gregory. There's also the possibility that neither of them cut the elevator, considering that cutting it would not have inhibited the Mimic after Cassie opened the concrete wall keeping it trapped, meaning that Gregory cutting the elevator would have been pointless. Yeah, because the Mimic could have just gone out the door. Also, this ending only occurs if Cassie follows Gregory's directions to the elevator. Should the player choose to go left to the right, she enters a control room with a scooping device. If the player hits a button to activate, the Mimic attacks but is destroyed by the device. Seeing as the Mimic likely did not want Cassie to find this, and the real Gregory, or at least Vanessa, likely knew it was there, it makes sense that the Mimic is purposely trying to keep Cassie from going there. It is important to note that Gregory instructed Cassie to go to the scooper room in the scooper ending, rather than the elevator, which is also blocked off from access, making one to believe whether the scooper ending is canon. If the real Gregory did cut the line, it's possible he did it due to believing the one in the elevator is a Mimic and hoping to kill it. Although it's quick to note that the elevator Cassie has similar features to the service elevator in the kitchens of the Pizzaplex at Gregory's in a security breach, and that the elevator in Roxy Raceway could potentially act as another escape route for the Mimic. Actually, that one wouldn't work, because the one in Roxy Raceway that Freddy and Gregory took only goes one way. It is also worth noting that if Gregory deliberately dropped the elevator to prevent the Mimic from escaping, then why didn't he allow the Mimic to kill Cassie and stop her from entering the elevator in the first place? Alternatively, he could have let Cassie lure the Mimic in the elevator and then drop them both into the depths of the pizza place. Yeah, so there's definitely some questions about that ending, but what an interesting, setup. So the idea is that Gregory was the one that made him. Why would Gregory intentionally make everything in the Pizzaplex hostile to himself? How did he? Yeah, I guess.
Talking about today
That's
is
just
some
weird.
major stuff. Everything that's coming out right now feels like it's trying to guide us into what the plot of Security Breach was meant to be. And now with Ruin coming out in July and building off of that initial game, we've got a ticking clock demanding that we solve things, and quick. Our window is tight. So today I'm here to catch you up on all the major reveals and the ensuing controversies before throwing my purple hat into the ring on what I suspect it all means. Good news, bad news on today's episode, friends. Good news, I think we've been on the right track the entire time. Bad news, I don't think the wider FNaF community is gonna agree with me. This one is gonna be a battle, so are you ready, theorists? It's time to eat pizza and theorize, and I'm all out of pizza. Okay, first let me catch you up on the big FNaF drama. Let me set the stage. It's April. All of Team Theorist over here has just finished slaving away on our massive timeline for the series. We've done it. We are on the beach, coconut drinks in our hands, eager to take a break from the franchise until Ruin's release later in the year. But nope. Scott had himself some other plans. He smacked those beverages clean out of our hands and released 3 new books: Submechanophobia, The Bobby Dot's Conclusion, and Nexi. Now, normally that wouldn't be too much of a concern, right? Books tied to this franchise have been coming out for years. It's just part of the content treadmill at this point, and it's not like they tend to add a whole lot. Only one in every 6 stories is even remotely lore relevant, and even then the connection back to the games only exists if you squint at it. But oh no, friends, not this time. Across the 3 books, story after story after story seems to have significant lore implications. And not only that, they're also much more direct in the way way that the information is presented, with characters and events mapping largely one for one onto characters and events from the games. If you're not in the habit of reading these things, and let's be honest, why would you when I could just do the homework for you, what I'm talking about might be a bit confusing, so I'm just going to explain by way of example. In GGY, one of the 4 stories that set the internet on fire, a young boy named Greg, with brown hair and big brown eyes, is a master hacker who's been reprogramming the animatronics at the Pizzaplex for evil deeds, including bumping off 3 school counselors that seem to be getting too close to the truth. He also has himself a habit of being really good at the Pizzaplex's arcade games, leaving behind his initials GGY at the top of the game's leaderboards. Now, compare that information to what we get in the games. There's a young boy named Gregory with brown hair and big brown eyes.
I guess here we are.
Patient 46, a master hacker that's reprogramming the animatronics at the Pizzaplex for evil deeds, including bumping off 3 therapist characters that also seem to be getting too close to the truth. He also has himself the habit of leaving the letters GGY at the top of the leaderboards at various arcade cabinets throughout the Pizzaplex. Now that right there, that is not counting animatronic toes and trying to match up striped shirts. That is about as explicit of a one-to-one parallel that you get for this franchise. So when the story also reveals that Greg's nickname is Rab, aka Dr. Rabbit, you stand up and take notice. And you know what? The internet sees it. They recognize the connections and how important the books have suddenly become. No longer am I out there on my own little island shouting into the void about using the books to inform our speculation about the lore. Finally, the internet agrees with me. To me, this is a huge step in the right direction in terms of figuring out the wider lore of the franchise. You know, there's just one teeny tiny little problem with this. No one can quite agree just how seriously to take this lore. After years of denying the book's canonicity, there's suddenly been a massive swing of the pendulum the complete other way, where now many pockets of the FNaF community vehemently believe that these most recent stories are fully canon with the games. In other words, we're no longer talking about an alternate universe where events are similar to the games, but with slight differences. Oh no. Now the debate is all about whether what you read in the books also happened in the Pizzaplex that we play through in the games. So before we dive into that can of worms, let's just talk about the stories themselves. I already filled you in on GGY, which means it's time to talk about the other 3 which tell themselves a connected timeline of events, starting with the first, the Mimic. This is the one that everyone has been losing their collective minds over. This story tells the tale of Edwin, a genius inventor and single father, and his hyperactive son, David. Basically, Edwin is overworked. Years ago, he sold his struggling robotics company to Fazbear Entertainment, who now has him hard at work turning their, quote, weird costumes into entertaining robots, with the first one that he's working on being a bright yellow chick. There's just one problem here, David. David is 4 in all the best and worst ways possible.
Okay.
It means that he's sweet and excitable, but it also means that he's moody and demands a lot of time and attention. 2 things that Edwin does not have. So to fix his problem and get himself more work time, Edwin creates a piece of software known as Mimic 1. Using some spare robot parts, he makes a legless endoskeleton that's able to copy everything that David does. Basically, this thing's an AI that's using David as his training data. And while Mimic 1 starts by merely copying David, pretty soon it's able to respond on its own, independently. And David loves this thing, which means that Edwin is finally able to disappear into his work. Everything seems to be going well until tragedy strikes. An unsupervised David runs out into the middle of a busy highway and is killed. Edwin is devastated, and he takes all his rage out on the Mimic, this robot that continues to behave like his son, infusing the metal of the bot with pure agony. We then flash forward in time to Edwin being gone, and the Mimic roaming the halls of his abandoned home, a brutal killer still in possession of David's childlike tendencies. So, does any of that sound familiar? Cause it should. It's Henry Emily, a genius inventor who helped create the robots of Fazbear Entertainment, a man who also happens to be a single father whose only child dies in a tragic accident when they decide to run outside, a creator whose first project was Chica. Now, that alone would be plenty of connected dots, but the story continues to hammer home the parallels between these 2 men. In past videos, I've talked a lot about Henry's signature animatronic design, the hinged jaws that we see on the original animatronics, as well as the Rockstar animatronics. Well, guess what? This is how Edwin decided to build the Mimic. Quote, under the eye housing, Edwin had welded in place a hinged jaw. Speaking of Edwin's robots, do you know what Edwin's first business project was? He made robotic vacuum cleaners, presumably like the ones that we see in FNaF 6. Edwin and Henry even share the same sandy brown hair color. But the other big parallel that the story gives us is when Edwin destroys the Mimic. The way this event is
Those 2 parallel are false, neither or the same, but this is before Henry. Okay.
Is very similar to when Henry...
Well, yeah, this video is before Ruin came out, so he's just doing a bunch of speculation without knowing what happened in Ruin. I mean, he does... Game Theory does have one. I'm actually hovering over it, which is where after he plays Ruin. Edwin happens before Henry. Oh, we can
He built
still
the final
we'll finish
Charlie
this one and then
Bot
we'll
for the
watch the
fourth
other
Closet
one.
novel. Here's how it's described in Tales of the Pizzaplex. He could almost feel his murderous thoughts pouring through his muscles, transfusing through the metal into Mimic systems. And here's what happens when Henry builds the Charlie Bot after her death. Quote from that book. When Henry began to make the fourth, his despair turned to rage. He seethed as he soldered her skeleton together, pouring his anger into the forge where he shaped her very bones. It was not Charlotte drenched in grief, it was made alive with Henry's fury. In both instances, we have men who have instilled their creations, animatronics that are literal stand-ins for their dead kids, with the pain and rage of loss. If that's not a solid connection, I don't know what is. Even from a timeline perspective, Edwin being Henry makes a lot of sense. In the Mimic, they specifically call out that he's 24 years old. After the death of his son, he disappears. But then, in another tale from the Pizzaplex, this one called The Storyteller, we meet up with Edwin 40 years later, at the point that he decides to return to the Fazbear franchise to sit on their board of directors. Again, the books make a very specific point to call out all these dates. So why? What's the big deal here? Well, if Edwin is truly the parallel for Henry, Henry lost his daughter Charlie in 1983. We're not exactly sure when he leaves the company, but we definitely know when he comes back, 2023, as evidenced by the numerical code in FNaF 6. 40 years later. A perfect match to the time frame that the books have laid out. In short, Edwin has to be Henry, which means, in a very cool twist, our early franchise timeline was almost perfectly correct. In that video, I said that William Afton's company specialized in hand-sewn mascot suits, and that Henry, when he was brought in, was the one responsible for turning those suits into animatronics. That prediction right there, that was right on the money. I was also on the right track when I said that one of the two founders had their failing company get bought out. I was just wrong about which one. In that timeline video, I suggested that Afton made Fazbear Entertainment, but eventually ran out of money and had to be bailed out by Henry. But as this story shows, it's actually the other way around. Henry was ultimately the one that was bought out. And in one final parallel between the books and the games, the story actually describes the Fazbear exec that gets Edwin to sign away his business as Portly, which connects all the way back to the Silver Eyes, where Afton was described in a similar way. Quote, Afton was as robust and lively as Henry was withdrawn and shadowy. He was a hefty man who had the ruddy geniality of a financially shrewd Santa Claus. Okay, cool, so we've got some confirmation on some early parts of the franchise, but what does any of this mean for Security Breach? Well, that's where the second Edwin story comes in. The story.
This is kind of interesting, actually.
Join Edwin 40 years later. Because
but I don't know how accurate all is.
Fazbear Entertainment, he now sits on the board of directors. A fact that does not land too well with the current head of the board, Mr. Burrows. Get it? His name's Burrows because everyone's always connected to rabbits. Anyway, to cut costs at the Pizzaplex, Mr. Burrows decides to lay off the entire creative department, instead replacing them with a generative AI that's capable of creating new storylines for all the characters. Basically, this thing is like ChatGPT on steroids. This, understandably, upsets Edwin, who apparently has gone from engineering nerd to creative heart of the company. But he's not just a WGA member that's upset about some Writers Guild's rights. What makes matters worse is the fact that Mr. Burrows isn't using just any AI, he's in
Secret of the Mimic shoots down Edward being Henry. Yeah, like I said, I was spoiled a little bit on Secret of the Mimic, and yeah, it does seem like he's got the right idea, but yeah, they definitely changed things up a little bit. It's not exact, but it's interesting to see how people were thinking back then about, like, you know, how all this kind of played out, how everything all kind of tied together.
installing Mimic 1, the same program that Edwin created, the one that was trained by his son 40 years prior. When they install it, it even comes in the form of his son's favorite toy, a white tiger head. And here's where things start to get real crazy. This AI controls everything in the Pizzaplex. It runs through a large central tree of wires that are connected through the walls, even tapping into things like the animatronics themselves. In fact, once the Mimic 1 program gets installed, the behavior of all the animatronics starts to change from their normal personalities into something that's a bit more like a 4-year-old. They start to become possessive. They get into tug-of-war matches over toys. They sulk in the corner and cry. David is somehow getting infused into everything that this AI touches. Eventually, Edwin attempts to shut the Mimic 1 program down, but he dies in the process. However, in his final moments, he attempts to communicate with his son inside the AI. You see, in the Mimic story, Edwin watches David communicating with his robot buddy using a made-up language described like this. Quote, David and Mimic had been doing all manner of odd little drawings that were surrounded by markings that looked vaguely like hieroglyphics. Edwin then uses this same language to communicate with the Mimic software at the end of the storyteller. Quote again, every sheet of paper was covered with odd stick drawings and strange symbols that were not at all familiar to Mr. Burrows. Squiggles, squares, loops, triangles within triangles. So why is this story such a big deal right now in the FNaF community? Well, everyone knows it's important, it's just that no one can truly settle on what it's trying to say. Which means it's time for me to do my best to try and break it all down. Now, I've already mentioned the parallels between Edwin and Henry, but what that also suggests is that Edwin's son David may just be an analog for Henry's only child, Charlie. Not that they're one and the same or following the exact chain of events, but rather that where David goes in the books, we should be looking for Charlie to follow in the games. And in the story, the Mimic 1 AI that was trained using David winds up controlling the Pizzaplex and all its animatronics via an intricate system of wires. This, to me, is the book suggesting that we should probably be looking for Charlie to be doing the same thing in the games. And wouldn't you know it, but there is a lot of evidence to suggest exactly that. Throughout Security Breach, there are wires everywhere. Black and white striped wires that look very similar to everyone's favorite possessed puppet, Charlie. There are also the staff bots roaming around looking like a twisted version of the puppet. We also see several unexplained Nightmarion plushies hidden in strange locations throughout the building, again suggesting that an angry version of Charlie may just be at work within the walls.
I was wondering what those were.
During my complete timeline, I suggested that the reason we were seeing so much puppet imagery throughout the Pizzaplex is because Charlie's possessing the building poltergeist style. Just like the house in that movie is possessed by angry spirits, the Pizzaplex is haunted by Charlie because it's built on top of the location of the FNaF 6 fire. Basically, her physical form may be gone, but her spirit is still going to haunt the building until Afton is destroyed. And again, I think that this latest story confirms that I was close about the what, but not necessarily about the how. Charlie is still very much here, but it's not a haunting, it's technological. And look at this. The wires are even formed in such a way that they look like the trunk and branches of a tree, exactly the way the Mimic's wires are described to run through the Pizzaplex in the book.
Yeah, that one's a bit of a stretch.
Infected everything in the Pizzaplex during the Tales story, so too is Charlie infecting everything in the Pizzaplex of the games. But that's not all. Remember that in the book, Edwin uses an elaborate code of symbols, sticks, and shapes to communicate with his son inside of the Pizzaplex. It's designed as an elaborate code of triangles within triangles. That right there, that is the wall code in Security Breach's secret room. Remember that one? If not, here's the abbreviated translation. Break and mend, I built the breath. They hunt now, drawn to life. The storyteller here is giving us a clue that this wall code, these triangles within triangles, they were written by Henry. How?
Yeah.
We're not sure. Honestly, we hadn't even considered him as a possible person to have written this because he was supposed to be dead in the FNaF 6 fire. But if you look at the text with him in mind, the pieces all fit. Henry did build the breath. He was the creator of the animatronics. And in all stories about Henry, we hear about him repurposing old robotic parts. He is breaking and mending them. But midway through, this coded message starts to switch tones. It starts giving instructions. Quote again, dodge, duck, flash, shoot, crawl, run, crush the vile band. Your life, your aim will save those with soul. He's teaching someone their mission. He's giving some robotic AI their instructions, just like Edwin was trying to communicate with the AI in the book. It is their task to save
all you know is maybe Edwin built the plaza.
Specifically at the verbs that are written here, especially shoot and flash. This one has to be talking to Gregory. Not only is he the one that's crushing the vile band of the Pizzaplex, all of those actions are things that he performs in the game. He is the only one shooting with the Faz Blaster. He is the only one flashing with the Faz Cam. It seems like Henry, in a last failsafe against Fazbear, may have built a protector using an AI program and spoke to it using his triangle within triangle code. And that protector has to be Gregory. I know, I can't let Robot Gregory go, I get it, but how else do you explain this? No one else is flashing and shooting. And remember, the story GGY confirms to us that Gregory is patient 46, whose secret...
Okay. I think he's reaching here, but that could just be me. Rather Henry who did it even though he died.
Therapy tapes are played right next to where this code is in the very same room. Everything in this
that's why I didn't know about it.
The message is for Gregory, written in a code that the books tell us is reserved for robot brains. But this then raises two major questions. First, how could I say that Gregory's a robot when we see him in GGY as just a kid at school? And secondly, GGY makes it clear that Gregory is a villain, hacking into the animatronics and using them to kill people.
Apparently, all three of your former therapists have gone missing, or two of them are missing. One of them was found dead. The woman's body was pretty messed up. It looked like it was mangled by machinery.
Gregory's pen name for a large portion of the book is Dr. Rabbit, for crying out loud. If that doesn't scream, oh, by the way, I'm also working for Afton, I don't know what does. He even calls himself the wizard's most favorite apprentice. So how can I say that he's working for Henry when it's very clearly being
pretty
told
not
to us
subtle.
that he's also working for William? Well, first off, we never actually see confirmation that he's a human in the books. In fact, we largely get the opposite. Gregory is actually described in the book as, quote, an unfamiliar kid who looked a little lost at the start of the school year. So there's no past past with this kid. No growing old together with a group of friends. He just appeared out of nowhere one day. What's more, whenever his friends do something odd, Gregory reacts in a very robotic way. He cocks his head and he has a weird pause in his behavior. Is that a lot to go off of? No. But also nothing about him explicitly says that he's necessarily human, or that he's just the reluctant follower of Afton. But obviously the bigger question here is how? How can he be both a protector bot and an agent of Afton at the same time? This is also a question that's raised in the books. If GGY is saying that Gregory and Glitchtrap are in control of the animatronics, but then the storyteller is saying that an AI version of Charlie is controlling the animatronics, who's actually in control here? Both of these stories feel crucial to understanding Security Breach's lore, and yet they seem to contradict each other. So what is going on? Well, for that answer, we actually have to go to the trailer for the new Security Breach DLC, Ruin. In the last few seconds of footage for this new game, we see a glitching techno rabbit, glitching between two colors, green and purple. This effect is known as chromatic aberration, which is when the lens of a camera is unable to focus the different colors of light into the exact
this should be
point.
fun.
Usually you see this sort of thing with red and blue, sometimes red and green. Purple and green is not usually the natural color combination for this sort of effect, which means that it's trying to tell us something. And this isn't the only time we see it. If you go over to securitybreachtv.com, which has been the go-to location for all online teasers for these games, the website has the steel wool logo down in the corner, glitched again between purple and green. Not only that, they're reverses of each other. Not just reflections, but actually facing in opposite directions. Well, we know that purple is always going to be the villain color. It's evil. That is a given for this franchise. But green, that then, is probably the opposite color, the hero color. And while it could represent Elizabeth with her signature green eyes, what I suspect is more likely is that the green is Charlie, the color of the security.
Okay, knowing now in Ruin, green is Roxy. Glitchtrap is never green. Or not, well, not Glitchtrap, but the rabbit is never green. He's always purple. The only green you ever see in the entire game when you use the mask is Roxy.
Puppet's eyes.
Actually, I think the only green in the game, besides Monty, obviously, and actually he's not green, but Monty's area is. But the only character is Roxy.
Color of the wristband that she was wearing the night that she died, all green. So within Gregory, and honestly within all of these
Yeah, but to be fair, when he was making this theory, Ruin hadn't come out yet.
animatronics, there's a capacity for both good and evil. Glitchtrap is
What's funny is, like, it's almost foreshadowed, because when you look at the, so Chica's messed up beyond all recognition by the time Ruin pops around. But the one remaining feature that is on Roxy, the green hair. Freddy, his head is gone, which makes sense because the robot that you see in Ruin is not actually the Freddy from Security Breach. It's actually a new model. The foot literally says prototype. And then Monty is just stripped of everything. By the time Ruin comes around, he doesn't even have a personality left. But yeah, it's Roxy. Roxy's the protector. There's a theory from that other dude we were watching the video of that Roxy might not have actually been the last security node. The reason why you were told to disable her as like the last security node wasn't because she was a security node, but because if you disable her and shut her down, then she's not a threat to the Mimic. Because there's this theory that Roxy's raceway was built over the top of, because like it's right where her raceway is the elevator that goes down to where the Mimic is. So the theory here is that she's actually the protector. She's the one who's supposed to keep the Mimic like at bay, under control, whatever. So, kind of an interesting thought, but...
for both good and evil. Glitchtrap is in the code, obviously, he's purple, but there's also a force for good, Charlie, in there as well as green. And what we're playing through is a battle between these two to ultimately decide who wins. That's why the tiger head and the Tales from the Pizzaplex story has two differently colored eyes. It shows two forces at work within the same program. This also explains why throughout the game, the other animatronics are getting corrupted, but why Glamrock Freddy isn't. He's booted in safe mode. The storyteller establishes that all the animatronics are hooked into the computer network that controls the Pizzaplex. By glitching out and then rebooting in safe mode, Glamrock Freddy is separated from that system, as well as any sort of corruption that's happening within it.
And arguably, this is what happens with Sun and Moon when they become Eclipse. They get rebooted. And I think that's meant to be foreshadowing for what happens with Roxy when you shut her down.
Just like that, it all became crystal clear. The reason we have two stories telling us about two different sources of control over the animatronics in the Pizzaplex isn't because Scott changed his mind or because Steel Wool didn't get the memo. It's because Ruin is literally going to be a battle for control. The forces of evil, Glitch Trap, versus the forces for good, Charlie. One who wants to kill kids and use their souls to gain eternal life, and another who wants to put it all to rest and protect those who can still be saved. And Gregory is stuck there in the middle, both of them existing inside of him. Like he says himself.
Okay, yeah, we gotta watch his Ruin video because this is hilarious. Eh. Oh my gosh.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that is definitely the real deal and not a sentient robot designed to copy my voice. Today we begin our journey to solve the most anticipated DLC of the year, Security Breach Ruin. Gotta admit, this DLC has been fantastic. Playing it, it really felt like Steel Wool learned from their mistakes. Gone is the open world that was big but empty. Gone is the brightly lit neon environments that stopped being scary. And gone are the insane glitches that made the game impossible to fully complete.
Ooh, hey. Whoa! We are not where we were.
This definitely feels like we've skipped something.
I think we broke the game. I think I broke the game for like the third time.
Okay, maybe not all the glitches are gone, and just so happened to be on my first playthrough, I managed to skip an entire chapter that was filled with the most lore, but hey, consider that my contribution to the speedrunning community. You can call that one the failed lore hunter skip in my honor. It'll be my crowning achievement in the world of gaming. Just to make sure that we're all starting on the same page, in the game, we play as a new character named Cassie, a young girl that's been called to the Pizzaplex by her friend and my personal favorite, maybe definitely robot kid, Gregory. Gregory tells us through a Roxy talkie that he's trapped under the sinkhole in Roxy Raceway. One staff bot jump scare later and we're handed a quote-unquote security mask, one that's meant to help us bypass certain puzzles while shutting down all the security nodes that are keeping Gregory locked down in the basement. But this, my friends, is not just any mask. This is Vanny's mask, the one that Vanessa wore throughout the entirety of Security Breach, making it pretty darn suspicious. Using this mask allows us to look into an augmented reality system, seeing things that we couldn't see before, making us invisible to certain enemies. We can suddenly walk through walls, deactivate security nodes, intentionally teleport, and as I demonstrated earlier, also accidentally teleport sometimes. Mask in hand, we make our way through the Pizzaplex, shutting down the security and encountering the various Glamrock animatronics from the original game, including the bestest boy Glamrock Freddy, though something's a little different about him this time. I can't quite put my finger on it. It's probably the fact that he's missing his head. All of this while running from a glitching bunny entity that'll summon animatronics to our location if we wear the Vanny mask for too long. Eventually, we deactivate all the security nodes, including Cassie's favorite Glamrock, Roxy.
Cassie, what are you doing?
Sorry.
This allows us to head on down to the basement where, surprise, surprise, it wasn't Gregory at all. Instead, it was an animatronic. See, told you guys Gregory was a robot this entire time. This thing right here is the Mimic, a bot designed to learn from and copy other people and robots. And whoopsie poopsie, we've just released it from its concrete prison. We run to the elevator to try to escape, only for the real Gregory to finally contact us and lead us to safety. The elevator is ultimately sabotaged by either Gregory or the Mimic, unclear who exactly, that's a theory that we're going to talk about later, and we fall into the game's ending with Cassie's fate being questionable at best. Honestly, there is so much happening in this game. True to form, the fanbase is just tying itself into knots arguing over all the little details. Did Gregory actually betray us in the end? What does the word prototype mean on Freddy's foot exactly? And what
That's a good question.
Security breach actually led us to this point in the timeline? Well, good news
Also
there,
good
loyal
questions.
theorists. I believe I have at least the first batch of questions answered, and oh boy. If I'm right, this game is drawn from one of the most controversial parts of the lore, while simultaneously setting us up for some massive reveals later this year. So grab your AR bunny masks, friends. We're about to see the hidden truth buried within the ruin. But before I do that, you know what complements a high-tech bunny mask? Our latest batch of flair. Case in point, meaning first ever phone is in there, chic, all the in true endings is canon.
There we go.
Security Breach has had a weird relationship with its endings. Sure, some previous FNaF games have had multiple endings, some have even had upwards of 7, but none has ever been so vague about what the intended ending was. Of Security Breach's 6 potential endings, there were 2 that felt like real contenders for being the canon choice. The so-called true ending, 2-star ending where Gregory goes into the Pizzaplex's basement to fight Burntrap, ending in a collapse of the entire building, and the Princess Quest ending, the only 3-star ending of the game where Freddy's dismantled by staff bots and Gregory defeats the glitch trap virus controlling Vanessa. So now that Ruin's out, which actually happened? Well, we could say with near 100% certainty that it was Princess Quest. You see, Steel Wool did something that I would have never expected. They made the comic book style drawings of all the Security Breach endings into the linchpin of the whole debate.
Are we collecting the endings from Security Breach as comics?
Yep, throughout Ruin, one of our main collectibles are comic strips. Comic strips depicting images from the base game.
What's funny is I never got any of these.
That were created by none other than...
It's one of Gregory's comics.
Each comic comes with a little descriptor like that. These look like Gregory drew them. Gregory should be an artist when he grows up. Gregory was always so creative. That last line about Gregory being creative, that tells me that these endings are all made up. They're just stories that Gregory imagined for his own little comic series, inspired by the scary true-to-life events of the franchise. But if they're made up, then how do we know that the Princess Quest ending is real? Well, once you collect all of Gregory's comics, the answer is pretty obvious. Take a look at this. These 2 are from the Gregory Escapes ending. These 2 are from the VIP ending. These are from the Loading Dock ending. This one is from the Disassemble Vanny ending. And then, last but not least, is the Burn Trap ending panel. Seems like a pretty extensive list, right? Except there's one ending that's noticeably absent here. Princess Quest. There isn't a single comic strip in all of Ruin depicting that ending, implying that that one, unlike all the others, was real. And if you look around at the rest of Ruin with this in mind, you start to realize why. In the Princess Quest ending, you have to beat the Princess Quest 3 arcade machine that's in Vanny's hideout. But when you visit that same hideout in Ruin, you find the machine on its side, with the princess's lantern sitting on top of it. She has conquered the virus, lighting the way to freedom. And if the lantern wasn't obvious enough symbolism for you, when you put on the Vanny mask and enter the AR world, you'll see the sword from Princess Quest 2 and 3 plunged into the machine. The beast has been slain. Actually, the fact that Cassie's given the Vanny mask in the first place also lines up with this ending, because it's the only ending where we actively see the mask getting left behind. It's actually a big focus of this panel right here, showing us that the mask being left behind is significant. It's still waiting around for someone, in this case Cassie, to find it and become the new Vanny. And then, last but not least, there's the fact that in Ruin we come across Freddy, sitting in a pile of rubble missing his head, something that again only happens in the Princess Quest ending. So with our canonical ending established, let's just stop right there to talk a little bit more about Freddy, shall we?
Makes sense.
In Ruin we come across this headless Freddy, but it's unclear whether it's meant to be our Freddy from Security Breach or not. You see, this...
So there's 2 things about it. One was the prototype on the foot, but the other is the presence is still in his chest. Which, you know, if it was the same Freddy from the first Security Breach, I don't think that present would be there.
Freddy has the word prototype written across his foot, something that is definitely not present in the base game. He also has a green present hiding in his stomach, something that's awfully suspicious once you consider Security Breach started with Gregory taking an orange present out of Freddy's stomach. This can't possibly be the same robot then, right? This is one of the big debates that's captured the attention of the Faz base. If the Princess Quest ending is correct, then it kinda has to be the same Freddy. It would be very highly coincidental if not. So how then do you explain all these new features? Well, first, I think it's important to call out that design updates between games, it is nothing new for this franchise. Probably the best known example of this is the evolution of Springtrap in FNaF 3 to Scrap Trap in FNaF 6. William Afton's basic anatomy, it is nothing alike, despite it being the same dead body in the same rotten suit. Even in this game, Candy Cadet, complete overhaul between his first appearance and now. Or just take a look at any of the other animatronics. Their endos are real different to the ones at the end of Security Breach, and yet each and every one of them has suffered the exact same damage that they did in the previous game. But one detail that can't be replicated is something that I think a lot of the community has started to overlook, something that can't be denied, and it all relates back to the Vanny mask. We're told that this mask is known as the Virtual Augmented Neural Network Integration Unit, or Vanny. As the name implies, it allows us to use augmented reality to physically see and access the neural network, that's just a fancy name for AI, controlling the Pizzaplex. Throughout the game, we use this ability to make fences disappear, access security nodes, and teleport from location to location. manifestation. That much is obvious. What's less obvious, though, are how the various endoskeletons behave while we're wearing the mask. As we pass most normal endoskeletons in the game, we see them wrapped in swirling pink code. This shows that they're connected to the network. They're being powered by the AI system in charge of the Pizzaplex. Now, when Cassie has the Vanny mask off, they'll start chasing us. That's because we're suddenly visible to them. We're just a kid. We're a target. But notice what happens as soon as we put the mask on. They stop chasing us. Instead, they go back to what they were doing before. We've disappeared from them because we're integrated into the AI system. We're no longer a kid. We've become one with the code. It's actually pretty brilliant, subtle storytelling. But now let's get back to the topic at hand.
That doesn't work
Headless
against the
Freddy
named
and
ones like
Unlike
this one.
every other animatronic, when we put on the mask around Freddy, not only does he stop chasing us, he outright disappears. We can't see him anymore. And likewise, he can no longer see us. Why? What makes him so different? What is this trying to tell us? Well, if the Vanny mask jacks us into the Pizzaplex's AI system, his disappearance tells us that he's not a part of that system. He is not swirling in pink code because he's removed from the Pizzaplex's network. How'd that happen? Well, we saw it at the top of Security Breach. Freddy glitches out and has to be rebooted in safe mode. That's why he's friendly to Gregory in a way that none of the other animatronics are. He's no longer under the control of the AI network controlling the Pizzaplex. In a sense, you could say he's thinking for himself. And we see this continue throughout the entirety of Security Breach. Whenever Gregory sees Vanny running around, Freddy states that he didn't see anything.
You didn't see the dancing rabbit lady right in front of us?
No, I did not. There is no rabbit at the Mega Pizzaplex. Not anymore.
Vanny is very clearly real, but she's wearing
He's talking
her
about
mask, thereby
Bonnie.
making her invisible to the one robot that isn't a part of the wider AI system. That only changes when Freddy is equipped with Roxy's eyes. Roxy's eyes in that game were a part of the AI system, which is why that upgrade suddenly allows Freddy to see things that were formerly invisible to him. He's seeing everything that's a part of the AI network, and that includes Vanny.
Vanny, I can see you now. I have new eyes.
This one detail is why I feel that Ruined Freddy here has to be the same as our best boy from Security Breach. This is a Freddy that has been removed from the system, one that was rebooted in safe mode, taking him offline, something that almost guarantees that he has to be connected to the Freddy from the original game. Weird Freddy curveballs aside though, this game makes it abundantly clear that I was right on the money with my last few theories about how AI is now the major focus of the series, and specifically AI programs that have been corrupted by glitch traps. Afton's old evil data, hence why everything is wrapped in this purple or pink code. Well, everything except for Roxy. Instead of being made out of purple code like the rest of the animatronics, she instead has sections of her body made up of green code, specifically around her face, her arm, and her foot, making her look a lot like she did at the beginning of Security Breach. It's strange, right? But it actually ties into our previous theories. This neural network controlling the Pizzaplex isn't just influenced by Afton. According to the books, the AI program was originally built to play with Charlie, a girl that wore a green wristband in order for the security puppet to protect her. That's why we see Tiger Rock, the book's manifestation of this same AI, with two colored eyes. It has evil and good data inside of it, and different animatronics are tapped into different amounts of that same code. That's why Roxy is surrounded by green code that makes her look like she was originally supposed to. Green is the color of protection, of safety. Her influence is now putting green markers over the parts of the system that are good. This duality is actually best exemplified by, believe it or not, the daycare attendant, Sun and Moon, or Eclipse as they're known when fused together. Since the beginning of Security Breach, this thing's presence in the game has always felt very random. Like, why is he here? Just to be another scary thing to chase us around? Maybe, but that doesn't tend to be how these games work. And why would they choose such a random design of being both light and darkness, sun and moon? Well, now we know. In one of Ruin's many lore-heavy Easter eggs, if you go up to him with the mask on while there's only one generator left to activate, you'll hear a new line that states,
No! It's not safe yet! Turn on the other generator!
Clearly, Eclipse is conflicted. One half wants to protect you, but it's getting shut away by the darker, more sinister half. He is good and evil combined. He represents both codes competing within the same body. Other animatronics are more of a sliding spectrum. Some are more corrupt than others, but Eclipse represents the balance that naturally exists within this neural network system, which leads us then to the end
so
of the
this
game.
kind of makes
Whether
sense.
Gregory is actually the one trying to kill Cassie in the final moments is a theory for another day. Instead, I'd rather focus on this, the Mimic Tunnels. At the end of the game, we're chased by an endoskeleton known as the Mimic, a robot that's able to learn from and copy other creatures. But even before we get to the elevator, Gregory tells us his friend, presumably Vanessa, has these plans for the underground tunnels.
My friend has access to the building map. Just follow his instructions.
But what are the tunnels? Why are they here? Who put them here? These tunnels aren't just random. Someone has been down here before. They've installed lighting and an elevator and everything. We also know it wasn't Gregory and Vanessa because they're on the opposite side of the room that the Mimic was locked in, the Pizzaplex side, complete with the mixes system. We also know that these tunnels weren't just part of the FNaF 6 location because the game makes it a point to show that we're a number of floors far below that building. It tells us that this location has to be older than the FNaF 6 pizzeria. So again, I ask, what are these tunnels for and why are they here? Well, the clues to finding that answer are hidden in the Mimic's room. Normally, you wouldn't be able to see any of this stuff. You break down the wall, you enter a cutscene, and the Mimic starts to chase you. However, at this point, Steel Wool understands that the internet gonna do what the internet gonna do. We're gonna rip into the files, we're gonna free cam our way all across these maps, and we're gonna crank up the brightness hunting for clues. And sure enough, there is a lot that's hidden just out of sight. Inside the Mimic's room are two costumes, a grandma bird and an elephant clown. There also seems like there's supposed to be a third costume, a lion wearing a varsity jacket, but that one I was only able to find in the game files. That said, in one of the game's secret endings, the Mimic wears a costume that's kind of a mix of all three of these things, so that's the evidence that we need there. And overall, it's a pretty interesting find. We know from the books that the Mimic is a fan of wearing costumes. In the Mimic story, as well as the Pizzaplex epilogues, we know that the Mimic mainly cycles between two costumes, a mushroom and a jester. In the story, Edwin, our parallel for the game's Henry, was responsible for turning those costumes into animatronics for Fazbear. And that right there, that's an important detail. You see, the books make it clear that those costumes came from a time before Edwin made Chica into the first animatronic. In other words, these off-branded characters like a jester and a mushroom predate practically everything else that we see in the games. They come from a time before the core lineup of characters was officially decided. When Edwin disappears after the death of his son, Fazbear Entertainment goes to his abandoned home and reclaims all of their property. The Mimic, the costumes, everything. Think this is only specific to the books? It's not. I suspect that we've been hearing about these costumes ever since Night 4 of FNaF 3.
Until replacements arrive, you will be expected to wear the temporary costumes provided to you. Keep in mind that they were found on very short notice, so questions about appropriateness/relevance should be deflected.
But that's not all. On your way down to the FNaF 6 location, we find ourselves in a massive cave system full of bioluminescent mushrooms and waterfalls. This immediately felt weird to me. I mean, it is the first time that we've ever been in a place like this, a place that is outside of a building location in this franchise. So why now? Why this particular setting? Why such a beautiful cave with such specific details? It's odd because we've never seen anything like this in the entire series. Well, almost never. In the second novel, The Twisted Ones, as a friendly reminder, that's the one where the main character gets vored by an animatronic in the end. Good memories had by all. When Charlie awakens from being trapped inside one of the twisted animatronics, she finds herself inside of an old Freddy Fazbear pizzeria. As she explores, she too discovers a cave system with, wait for it, glowing mushrooms and a waterfall. What does it mean? Well, the more I looked into it, the more I realized the strong parallels between Ruin and the original novel trilogy. In both cases, we follow a young girl who's looking for a boy the same age as her that goes missing. She finds an old pizzeria buried below a mall, and when she goes down there to where she believes the boy's calling from, it's revealed to be a trap. Am I saying Cassie is Charlie? No, I might one day, but for now I'm still mulling that one over. But I do think that there are clear connections between this game and those books that are directly being called to our attention. And what's the primary location for the final book in the series? The location where this story finally comes to its ultimate conclusion? Circus, babies, pizza world. Look again at the costumes that we see in the Mimic's room. An elephant clown and a lion, both animals that are commonly associated with circuses. The grandma bird actually looks a lot like a crow to me with its wide yellow beak and its dark blue coloring, which again reminds me of the Disney film Dumbo, another circus-based film that stars crows and an elephant attraction. The elephant is even wearing a clown outfit, for crying out loud. It is practically screaming at us that these costumes were designed to be mascots for circus babies. It's why when they were brought into Fazbear's as backup costumes, like Phone Guy said, their relevance was questioned, because Fazbear never had a circus theme or revealed any of these sorts of characters. They were Williams from a long time before. But that's not all. Throughout Ruin, there are secret plush baby rooms where the dolls troll you, and a whole suite of plush baby AR collectibles that specifically call out how weird it is that these things are here. This is Fazbear, not circus babies. There is no reason to call out all of these parallels unless it is specifically to call our attention to Circus Baby. These locations are connected somehow, but the final nail in the coffin for me comes thanks to one of the secret endings in the game. After the Mimic chases you in costume, you end up in a locked room where you hit a big ol' red button and a claw-like machine machine comes down from the ceiling, grabs the mimic, and defeats it, at least for now. And what's that ending called in the game files? The scooper ending. This thing right here, it is a scoop. And where's the only other place that we've ever seen a scoop used? Circus Babies, an underground bunker that you can only access via an elevator. Oh wait, that describes exactly where we are. Now, remind me again what game is coming out later this year? One that has a trailer starting in the sister location elevator, one where we see a very familiar security panel from Ruin down in the bottom right corner. Help Wanted 2, the second VR game. The Mimic has been around much longer than any of us suspected, and we're gonna find out more about him in the next VR installment coming this winter. This has all sorts of implications. For one, the parallels between the Mimic and Ennard are undeniable. An animatronic that's an amalgamation of a bunch of other animatronics. What makes this one even more interesting is that the books just confirmed all games up through FNaF 6 as being games in-universe of the Pizzaplex. So was Ennard just a fictional version of the Mimic the whole time? Again, that's a theory for another day. But more importantly, this actually has some massive timeline implications as well. Part of the reason it always felt tough for me to place Circus Babies into a timeline is because it closes after the death of Elizabeth. That always felt like a good starting point for Afton to then begin seeking eternal life and to put people back together. But what didn't make sense is why Baby would have a claw mechanism in her chest to capture kids. Afton wouldn't need to capture kids until after he had lost his child. But if Circus Babies was actually much earlier in the timeline, like these old costumes seem to suggest, things start to fall into place. Henry was the initial robotics genius. Afton just had the ideas and then gave them to Henry to turn into animatronics, like what we see with Edwin in the Mimic stories. I always brush this little detail off as confusing, but before the release of Sister Location, we got this ending from FNaF World, where Henry sits at a desk talking about the evil that he created before he unalives himself, just like what we see him do in the novel trilogy. At that point, we see a pair of glowing eyes and Baby's voice calls out,
"Everyone, please stay in your seats."
This all implied that Henry was the creator of Baby, not William, despite Afton's name being the one on the copyright. But now I think we have an answer that solves all of this. William went back to collect his costumes after Henry's disappearance, just like what we see happen in the books. When he does this, he also finds the Mimic program, deciding to use its programming and technology for his own creations, the Funtime animatronics, who can do what? They have the ability to mimic voices. We see Baby doing the exact same thing in Sister Location when she mimics the voice of Elizabeth to try and lure Michael to his death. I suspected in my last theory that Baby was still at play here. That's why Tiger Rock's eyes are blue and green, Elizabeth and Charlie. And given everything that we just talked about today, I have no doubt that this is still very much the case. How it's gonna play out though, we'll have to see in FNaF VR 2 later this year. Obviously, there's gonna be more to cover here in the coming weeks, specifically about Gregory, Cassie, and Cassie's dad, but more on that one next time, because in the meantime, remember that our brand new line of merch just...
Okay, so that's all cool. It definitely helps fill in a lot of the blanks. You know, obviously, some of these details are not 100%, which makes sense because, you know, how old some of these videos are. But it definitely kind of helps set things up in a way that is cool, to be honest. Here, we're going to flip some music on. Turn off the window capture. Put spooky stuff back on. All right. All right. So, yeah, that was actually really fun. I'm glad we did that. I was a little worried it would be a bit too much, but honestly, yeah, that was pretty cool. It was nice to be able to kind of like learn a few things. I didn't know about the Gregory tapes because when I played Security Breach, I never came across that stuff. And I missed some stuff in Ruin too. So I think I'll have to go back and do like a replay at some point of like just pure, like we need to find as much stuff as possible, lore, like try and get the best ending if possible. You know, just that kind of a thing. You know, because like the first time playthrough, I wasn't really sure what to expect. And, you know, yeah, I kind of ended up missing a lot apparently. But yeah, this was cool. This gives me a lot more like of a deep dive into like the whole universe for Five Nights at Freddy's. And it definitely makes me more anticipated, like more excited, I guess you'd say, for Secret of the Mimic. So yeah. As far as Help Wanted 2 is concerned, I don't know. I mean, I can keep playing it, but it does seem like it's just a bunch of mini games. I'm going to look and see if there's actually any kind of like relevance to playing this outside of just having some fun with mini games. So if not, then we'll probably just move on You know, it's like $5 I pay for this thing anyway. And this seems like more of a VR kind of game anyway. So maybe that'll be something I set up with my VR helmet at some point here, and we could just play it that way. But yeah, I think we've been streaming for about almost 4 hours. I think we're gonna call it. It's early in the morning. I need to get to some sleep to work. Thank you everybody for coming out. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jason. I had some awesome conversations with you. It was really fun. Thank you, Dark Nova, for coming out, and Hirotion. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll either be doing some more Help Wanted, or we'll be moving on to something else. Not entirely sure yet. We've got tons of options, so I'll come up with something. When I do, I will announce, on my Twitter, on my Blue Sky, or my Discord when I go live. I also have my Stream Crash VODs channel on YouTube, so you can always check me out there as well if you don't want to be on Twitch with all the ads and everything. Yeah, I think we're good. So I will see you guys on the next stream. I think we'll call that a cast. Yeah. But yeah, that was fun. Kind of one of my goals for spooky season isn't just to play spooky games, but also to talk about spooky games and spooky things, and just, have a fun little vibe. So thank you for letting me do that today. I actually had more fun doing that than I did playing the game. Shh, don't tell anybody. So anyways, all right, I'm out. You guys have a wonderful day, morning, evening, wherever you are, and I will catch you all on the next one. So with that, take care. Bye-bye.